Good evening. I'm Isidoro Nieto, President of the Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees. This regular board meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Texas Open Meeting Act. Notice that this meeting has been posted online for at least 3 business days prior to the meeting date. The time now is 5:36, and I will call this meeting to order. I will now begin the roll call. Mrs. Ustaita won't be here today. Dr. Jaime should be coming in. Coach Cuellar?
Present.
Mr. Ben Castillo?
Present.
And Mr. Mark de los Santos?
Present.
Let the record reflect that we have a quorum today. The other two, Mr. Serna and Dr. Jaime, should be coming in the next few minutes. Invocation, Dr. Rivera.
Yes. Mr. Trevino?
Thank you, sir. Would you be so kind to bow your heads and let us pray? Lord of all creation, our Lord Jesus Christ, how great and mighty you are. You are awesome in all of your ways. Thank you for the gift of life, health, family, friends, strength, and ability to work to provide for our families. Thank you for your faithfulness and protection over the lives of our students, staff, and families. We thank you for the many blessings you have bestowed upon WISD at this early stage of 2026. We can truly declare that you have been faithful. Father, we will never tire nor waver to ask you to continue to bless and grant greater wisdom to our superintendent, Dr. Richard Rivera, and our amazing board. Thank you for their leadership and humility. Lord, may your will be done in our board meetings. Help us always to maintain integrity in what you have left in our care. Bless our administrators, staff, and teachers with wisdom, integrity, patience, and the physical and mental strength to continue and finish this year very strong. There is gratitude in our hearts for all that you have done, are doing, and will do in the days to come. May our hearts reflect the spirit of forgiveness as you have forgiven us. We ask you all this in your precious, glorious, and mighty name of Jesus. And everyone says, Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Pledge of Allegiance and Texas Pledge. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, Mr. Buttermer?
Good evening. At this time, we'd ask everyone to please stand, remove any headgear or headwear, place their right hand over their heart, and face the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'd ask everyone to please remain standing, right hand over their heart, and face the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mr. Buttermer. Number 5, awards and recognitions and proclamations. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, Mr. Trevino? We have one special guest today.
Thank you. Before we get started, I would like to play this video. Mr. Figueroa, would you like to come on up here? Tonight we want to recognize a very special athlete from Weslaco ISD. Brandon Figueroa graduated from Weslaco East High School in 2015. While in high school, Brandon was part of the swimming team and turned pro as a boxer. Since that time, he has taken part in many fights and won 27 boxing matches, leaving his opponents heartbroken. We honor Brandon, the Heartbreaker Figueroa, for the latest victory, a dramatic 12-round knockout of Nick Ball to win the WBA Featherweight Championship belt. Brandon now has 3 world titles, making him one of the most exciting boxers in the world, representing the Valley, the 956, the city of Weslaco, Weslaco East High School, and Weslaco ISD on the world stage.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Brandon the Heartbreaker Figueroa and his family on all his recent success. Weslaco ISD is proud of you.
Dr. Oh, all of us. Let's go down there.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's give him one more round of applause.
Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, fists in the air. Fists in the air. 1, 2, 3. Everybody. We love you, Brandon. Woo! There you go.
She was your principal when she was in Margot. She said, "You better take a selfie with Brandon."
Take it right now.
Yeah, no, but being a world champion, hey, you must take a picture with him.
Yeah.
Everybody there? Let's see. Somebody's missing. Coach Greg. Right there. Okay, one more. All right.
One more round of applause as he exits.
Hey, Brandon, we have a couple of comments from our board members to say about you or to you. So we'll start with Coach Cuellar.
That video speaks for itself, Brandon. And I remember when you were a student, I think you were a sophomore, we were out there with your brother, Omar, and we're talking about stuff, and little did we know where you're going to end up, but your vision has become a reality. We wish you the best and continued success, and you are the best in the world. Congratulations.
Mr. Ben Castillo.
Yes, just congratulations. Thank you for representing us so well. I know that that's not easy to do, but you are a role model, man. So we appreciate you very, very much, and we're very, very proud of you. And congratulations on all your success, and I know there'll be a lot more to come. So thank you again for your representation.
Mr. Los Santos.
Yes, I'd like just to say, kind of along the same lines, that congratulations on all your successes. I mean, you are a great role model for all of our kids, a true definition of determination, and you know, all the hard work that you put in, and all the sacrifice that we don't see, right? Your training and everything, and away from family and friends, and everything that you devote. So it's completely admirable, and it's amazing that we have you here in the room, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you. And your dad just came in, so congratulations, Mr. Figueroa. And Brandon, like I mentioned, go ahead. Congratulations. So Brandon, my wife said, you better say something positive, because I was Brandon's principal at Margot Elementary. But no, all your hard work, I've seen some of your videos, and I tell you what, that is a lot of hard work and dedication and determination. Of course, that makes you the champion that you are now, you know? And so I watched the video, and I tell you what, I was very proud. And other people are very proud of you too. And students, now they can say, you know what, he did very well, I can do it too. That's the same thing I told the softball girls when we won the state title. I said, now little girls are looking at you because you're going to be a role model for them. And now they want to aim for that, right? You won the world title. Now other students that are boxers or want to be boxers, they'll follow your footsteps. You know, and again, great job. All Weslaco is proud of you. Yes. And I know that Dr. Rivera is also proud of you.
I'm very proud of you. What's the next step?
Can I say something?
Yes, sir. Right here on the podium right here. Of course. Mr. Figueroa, father to Brandon.
Hi, thank you. Imagine how proud I am. 2 world champions.
Definitely.
And I want to say something. And the new WBA featherweight champion of the world from Weslaco, Texas, Brandon the Heartbreaker. Yes, sir.
So Brandon, congratulations again, and continue making Wesco proud like you have already. And I know your dad is proud of you, and your, not your teammates, the people that train you. I saw them too, that they were ecstatic after the win at that, especially in a country that, they didn't like you, right? but you showed that you're the champion. So congratulations again.
Who's around you, the family?
Oh, yes. Let's see. Who's this? Your girlfriend. Okay, what's your name? Daniela. And of course, Brandon and Mr. Figueroa. And over here? Oh, I know Noe Perales. Yes, I know him. Okay. Oh, that's, you know what? When I was young, it wasn't Noe Perales. It was his Alex. What was Alex's name? Contreras. They put me on a boys' club to fight Alex just for practice. Forget it. I said, that's it. 5 minutes, and with Alex, I said, forget it. No, I'm not going to be a boxer. So congratulations again, Brandon. We're proud of you. And once we finish with that, you're free to leave. Congratulations again. Okay? Thank you. Public comments.
There's a proclamation, sir.
Oh, there's a proclamation? Okay.
The Weslaco Independent School District has a long-standing tradition of excellence and strives to bring together all resources to provide our students and staff with the best opportunities for success. To that end, Weslaco ISD acknowledges and celebrates initiatives, departments, and organizations that join in our efforts to develop, expand, and enrich our learning environment for students, parents, and employees. Therefore, I, Isidoro Nieto, President of the Weslaco Independent School District Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim March 2026 as Youth Art Month, Social Workers Month. We also proclaim in March 2026 Educational Diagnosticians Week, March 1st through 7th in Weslaco ISD, and urge all citizens to recognize with appreciation our district's commitment to education and helping our children achieve their highest potential. A round of applause to these different groups.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. And I'm assuming, Dr. Vera, that the principals and, of course, central office will acknowledge those groups at their respective campus.
Yes. we will.
Okay, thank you. Next is be public comments.
There are none?
There are none today, okay. Number 7, Superintendent's report. Dr. Rivera.
Oh, yes. You have a copy before you. It's a short report this month. Let me start with the teacher incentive allotment. Thea? Last year, we had 207 teachers who qualified. This year, we have 326, so quite a few more. And the program is a program that provides teachers with a recognized exemplary or master's distinction, and they generate additional state funds ranging from $3,000 to over $32,000. So I'm very proud of these teachers, and we will continue next year with this program. It's based on growth and teacher evaluation data that we submit to TEA and Texas Tech. They're the ones that determine and approve the allotment system. I want to recognize our TIA district leaders for what they do, John Garlick, Erica Trevino, and Elias Trevino. So again, we're very proud of our teachers.
Can we ask a couple of questions? As we go through each slide, I'll start with see if we have any questions on the first part. Dr. Jaime, on the TIA, any questions on there?
No questions, but great job. Thank you. Thank you for the information.
Coach Cuellar?
I'm glad to see that it's getting better for everybody because I know a lot of people work hard for this, and it is definitely a great incentive. So we're very appreciative of the motivation that we have for our teachers to be the best of the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Vera. Mr. Ben Castillo?
Yes, just want to congratulate all the teachers, all the additional teachers who qualified. Appreciate all of your hard work that you do every day for our students. And I want to thank Mr. Garlick, Mr. Vino, and Mr. Trevino as well. I know it's a lot of work to manage this program, so appreciate all that hard work as well.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Let the record reflect that Dr. Jaime came in at 5:48 and Coach Eddie Serna came in at 5:50. Any questions, Coach Serna, on the
just
TIA?
Congratulations to all, and it's, good to see more people got it this year.
Correct. Mr. De Los Santos?
No, congratulations to everyone and that there's more participants. So that's a really great thing for our district, for our teachers, also for our parents as well too, knowing that they have top quality instructors in the classroom.
And, of course, we'll earn recognition for those teachers, especially the mastery teachers,
Right.
that they're doing an excellent job. But my concern is, I want to make sure that, I think it was last year or the year before last, that the percentages were not to what I thought they were going to be. So, most school districts, I'm 2 school districts, went with a 90-10%. 90% goes to the teacher, 10% for whatever. So, Dr. Vera, on the update, provide us what the teachers were told at the beginning, like what percent are they going to get? Because, remember, that's harder earned money from the teachers, and they prepare lessons for those students. And so the hard work will earn money that is well deserved. Okay? Next, continue, Dr. Vera.
Yes, on page 2, this is the student enrollment. You can see that last year at this same time, we had 16,305. A year later, we have 16,028. So we're at a minus 277. But if the school year started today, the new year at 277, we will be overstaffed by approximately 11 teachers. So we have less kids, so we have to reduce our staff. It'll be done through attrition. So at 11, and if the year starts today, with 11 less teachers, we'll be able to go ahead and work with these 16,028 students. Carlos Martinez, the Executive Director for Technology, always does a preliminary projection for the following year. And he takes the pre-K enrollment, the grade level rollovers, the student transfers, and then the staff anticipates an additional decrease in enrollment due to vouchers, virtual schools, and deportation concerns. So we're okay to start school year tomorrow at 16,000. But if we reduce that figure by 800, we're going to have to go out there and during the summer reduce our staff by about 10 more teachers. And again, every district is facing this. It's not just Weslaco, and we can't reduce right now until we know the actual numbers. So hopefully it'll be higher than 15.8. But if it's that figure, we're going to have to continue reducing our staff. Now it's not just teachers; it's administrators, auxiliary, everyone as we try to balance our budget. And again, every district is facing this financial issue. It's not just Weslaco ISD. Any questions on this slide?
Mr. De Los Santos, any questions on the student enrollment or concerns or comments?
Well, yeah, if you could put it back up, just so I can look at it while I talk. But I just had a few questions as far as more like, kind of like what we discussed with Lone Star Governance, right? We were getting data information, we were giving the same interventions, right? PLCs, et cetera. I think with slides like this, especially in our situation financially, I guess to sum it up so that the public understands, because sometimes people say, well, I don't know what you're talking about, though. So more meat on the bones, right? So if you're going to tell me that we're over by 11 teachers, I wrote down some questions as far as like, what are those positions? You already kind of stated to that, teachers, admins, et cetera, but what's the actual dollar amount? Because every teacher has different salaries or at least an average. So when we're talking 11 teachers, are we talking about 898,000? Are we talking about 600? So that would be the kind of information I would like as a trustee for future slides and presentations, especially when we're talking about reducing staff. And then the reductions, are they permanent? What are the certification areas are we going to look at? Like, is there going to be some type of, like me as a trustee and as a parent who has kids that come to the school, who are we going to focus on when we say teachers? Because sometimes there's certifications There's certain grade levels, certain skill sets that you need, special education teachers, things like that, bilingually certified. So, and when we're looking at the student enrollment dropping, I just kind of would love a breakdown to see what is the number, because I've asked and I've looked at old data, but how many students are in the teachers' classrooms? Like I've been there. I know what it is when you have a campus with teachers that are maybe like 14, 15 per class. But do we have that issue here? Is there, because even the campuses that are low, like I know, I'm not gonna say names, right? But I know there's always talk about those in presentations. But just because they're at 585, do they have teachers for 600 or 700? You see, because that's a difference. Some districts face that. Or do they have 18 to 20 kids in a class? Because if that's the case, then you really can't break down too many. So as a trustee, that's the kind of data and breakdown that I would love to see in specific, saying this is campus A, these are the teachers presently present there, and these are the number of students currently assigned. Because then that would enable us as trustees to, in a snapshot, to say, well, look at that campus, they're at 14, but this one's on a waiver, and they're at 22, or whatever the case may be. So just that kind of information.
Good points, Mr. Los Santos. Coach Serna?
No, the same thing as, same issues, same concerns, but just strategically, see where it's needed. And,
Okay.
And if those cuts are needed, where they're needed, let's get it done.
And again, the cuts will be where we have the least number of students at that particular campus. At a campus that has 1,000 students, you're not going to cut teachers. There's no way you can, because you already have them at 22 to 1. Mr. Castillo?
Let me just say, we're not going to cut anyone.
Right.
It's through attrition.
Right.
So when people leave, we just don't fill the position.
Correct.
I just want to follow up. I brought it up a couple times on the virtual schools. Are we pursuing that for us to create some kind of program so we could try to capture some of that ADA?
Yes, we're studying that.
Okay, yeah, because I know one district to our west has already have plans for next school year, trying to really target the children or the parents who want to homeschool their children. Right, it's just a different another kind of support mechanism, but we would still be able to get the ADA. So I really want us to look into that if we can. And then just kind of the same thing that Trustee De Los Santos said, just kind of getting a breakdown, how much we're expecting, how many employees we're expecting to leave at the end of the year, so we can have an idea of what actions need to be taken.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Coach Cuellar?
I just look at, where we're at, and have always stressed the importance of staying focused on the things that we can control. We can't worry about the things that we can't control. We need to control what we can control, keep our focus on what we're supposed to be doing, and trust our superintendent to find a way to make things work, and of course the staff, principals, at your individual campuses, keeping those students engaged, and continue to stress the importance of why it's important to attend Weslaco ISD, because what we provide for our students, like Dr. Rivera said before, second to none. The benefits that they're going to gain by being enrolled in Weslaco ISD, to be well-rounded and prepared for what's ahead when they get out of school. So again, what we're going to do is going to be based on how well we stay focused on what we're supposed to be doing and not worry about things that we can't control. So let's just keep doing a great job. We're seeing some very positive things, and that's what we want to focus on all the good things, because good things get better, and when one wins, we all win. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, Coach Cuellar. Dr. Jaime?
Oh, a lot of the same. I think it's time to we continue to focus on what we can present and offer to our students. Dr. Rivera, on the school vouchers, this coming school year, that'll be the first year that they'll take into effect. And what is the word on that? What are you hearing on school vouchers?
Right now there's 67 schools that have been approved by TEA. So that's throughout the valley.
Throughout the valley.
So that's a lot. 67. They'll be taking the students from throughout the valley. So it's a concern. And again, our job here, our task is to make sure that our teachers, myself, the principals, the board, we all work together to keep our kids. We don't want them leaving.
Correct.
So we have to provide the instruction, the safe schools, so that these kids don't leave.
Thank you, Dr.
And not to push anyone out.
Correct.
Sometimes discipline problems, sometimes we need to work a little harder with these students and not push them out.
And again, principals and of course your administrators and your teachers, very important that you find out why the students are leaving. As a principal, you need to find out, if they're exiting and going to another city, okay, that's different. But if they're going to IDEA, if they're going to a private school, why is it that they're leaving? We provide the academics, we provide the UIL, we provide the music. All those things are provided for our students that attend Weslaco ISD. But what, as an administrator, as a teacher, what is it that you're doing to keep those students at your campus? Very important. It starts there. Yeah, Dr. Rivera and central office staff and all those, but it starts at the campus. And how you work with parents, how you work with teachers and students, that will reflect if that student is going to come to Weslaco ISD. So just an FYI.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Rivera?
Thank you, guys. Yes.
Next
one?
Yes, sir.
We passed, Weslaco passed a bond election of $160 million. So right now, with that amount, and there's A, B, and C, right now we have $13 million in interest. So we have met with the legal advice from Rick Perez, the bond counsel, Dr. Angel Magañas, the financial advisor, Estrada Hinojosa. So we're going to meet with them. We're going to meet with the auditors, with Region 1, to see how we can spend the $13 million into the needs of the district. So on B, again, this is what I'm saying, that we're going to be working with the bond counsel, with Magañas, Estrada Hinojosa, to make sure that we do everything properly on the accounting standards, and that we spend the $13 million on how we can spend it. And again, we'll be meeting with them, and they'll give us a lot of good advice as to how we can spend that money. And then on C, our goal of our bond election, $160 million that the public passed, we are working on this to make sure that the vast majority of bond projects are in progress, and that we do these projects as soon as we can, and the goal hopefully by June of next year. So again, we've got the money, $13 million of the interest that's earned. We're meeting with getting advice from everyone, and then I'll go back to the board to show you how this money will be spent. That's slide number 4.
Any questions on the financial advisory? Dr. Jaime?
No, sir.
Any comments?
No.
No? Mr. Ben Castillo?
No, I'll wait for the audit.
Okay. Coach Ericerna?
No.
Mr. Los Santos?
Yes, on page 4, put it back up again. So bond funds, right? And we're talking about interest earnings. I know that Dr. Rivera had presented on this before, year 1, year 2, and it would be accumulating. And last year and also in fall, there was open session meetings where we discussed that those funds transitioning from the old ag farm and refurbishing that, those funds would be utilized to build the new one, right? To provide that for the community. We're still, that's my first question. We're still on track for that? Because I know that bond proceed interest funds can only be specifically utilized in certain areas. It's not like free money where you can just use anywhere.
Yeah.
Dr. Rivera?
Yeah, on the bond projects, some of the ones that we did already came under the amount that was budgeted.
Right.
So with that money, we're able to go ahead and pay for the ag barn without having to dip into the interest.
Okay. And then, so I guess just formally though, like I guess the only thing I'm going to state though in this slide, I said I would like as a trustee for myself, as part of the group, that once they get legal guidance, that it's in written form and presented to the board on how we can use these funds, because I know that there's restrictions with bond interest. It's just not free money. You can generally put in your fund balance and spend however you want. So that's something I would like as a trustee, just to ensure. Because I still got 3 years, I still got 3 years of my term. So I want to make sure that everything's according by the book, which I'm sure it will be.
Yes.
And then the other thing is too, is as trustees, I would like a presentation as far as what is the balance, because I don't think anybody here knows what the balance is of the bond. And I'd like to know, because people in the community ask me, well, you got 160, where you at now? And I have to be honest, I tell them, I don't know, and I don't know if anybody else on the board knows. And I think that's something we consistently have to be aware of and told, because I know when we get the figures for projects, once they're coming to get finalized, and I'm looking at a medical right now, right? Your department submits those, and so does superintendent, but there's no running tally. So I don't know if we're at 140, 130, 120. That's something I think is real important, not just for us, but we're the representatives of the community and should be told that information and should know it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I believe, we can request Dr. Rivera to provide that information for us.
In fact, we did it about 3 meetings
Yes,
ago,
we did.
and we showed you where we were at.
Right.
But we'll do it
Oh,
again.
okay. And also, my final portion is that for our bond projects, I know that we stated when we asked for it that we would, like Donna and Alif ISD in Houston, I looked at all these other districts, they have a web page dedicated to that with pictures and updates and designs and progress reports, 50%, 75%, those type of things. I think that would be we owe it to our community, right? Because it's their money. They're the ones that entrusted us with it. And I think that we haven't done that yet, or I haven't seen it. And that's something I think as a board, we need to discuss and really ask the superintendent of the administration, like, we need to get that going.
I think it's a good idea, and we can do it.
Please.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All right, Dr. Rivera, continue to your next one.
The last slide that I have is on the 25-26 budget. And we all know that this year there have been challenges with the past budgets. And we're looking at options to find solutions. And below are some of the things that we're looking at. And we're looking at revenues right now and expenditures. Region 1 is assisting us with this. And they're gonna give us recommendations on the budget reductions. Staff and I, because of the ADA, we didn't reach the ADA with the enrollment. So right now, and we started doing this since September, we're reducing the 25-26 budget for this year, and also as we look at this for next year. So again, the key here is that we reduce our budgets. And in number 3, the payroll budget, for example, since August, we've already reduced over $1 million that we've not spent. As the vacancies occurred, we didn't replace them. It was done through attrition. So we're looking at the payroll budget. On number 3, we're looking at additional revenues. We've got land that's not being used that we would like to sell. The board will approve this. We're looking at grants too. So we're looking at additional revenues, again, through these 2 things that I mentioned, and there are other things that we're also looking at. On number 4, the board several years ago signed a contract with Marco Dex Flores, the storm damage attorney, and we're working with him to see if we can receive additional insurance claims that will go into our revenues. The goal that we have for this year, and it's a difficult goal, but I feel that we can do it, is not to carry over the expenditures for 26, 27, and again, through increasing revenues and decreasing expenditures. As I mentioned last time, it will take a team of 8, all of us working together, making the decisions on the expenditures, on the revenues, reducing the budget, working with Cinto Ramos and Lone Star as we navigate on these challenges with possible solutions. Again, my favorite saying is difficult, but not impossible. This is my last slide.
Thank you, Dr. Rivera. Dr. Jaime, any comments on the budget?
On the budget, no. I know there's a lot of work to be done with that, and I know I sat on my first committee insurance benefit meeting with Dr. Cantu and the committee, and there's a lot of work with insurance too. I know that's a big area that sometimes hits the budget pretty hard there, but got to get creative with that, and I know the committee's working really hard to help with the budget on that end there. So thank you for the information, Dr. Rivera.
Thank you.
Coach Cuellar?
Thank you for that information, Dr. Rivera. As always, you have the ball. Keep running with it.
Thank you.
And don't fumble it. Mr. Castillo?
He won't fumble it.
No.
Yes, sir. On the storm damage, can we get an update from the attorneys maybe by the next board meeting to see where we're at on that?
Yes, we can do
I
that.
know it's been pending for a couple of years. And then also, when can we get Region 1 to come over before the board and kind of present their recommendations and their findings?
We can do that.
Okay, yeah, whenever they're ready.
Yeah, probably in March or April, whenever they're ready. We can do that, yes.
Okay, yeah, I'd be interested to see what they got. Is Dr. King involved personally?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm familiar with his style, so it could be interesting. All right, that's all I got. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Coach Serna?
No, just following up what Ben said. That'd be
Okay.
Good to know.
Mr. Los Santos?
Yes, I have 2 items. Well, they're pretty much of the, dealing with the 1 through 6 items. But number one, the first one I wanted to ask was about Region 1. I think you kind of touched on it, but that was my question as far as Region 1 came in and who exactly from Region 1 is here? Because I know that they're receiving information. The financial data, our budget is being fixed right now by an individual, right? And I completely trust that individual's work, okay?
Okay.
Because, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. But we're paying Region 1, but what are they exactly doing? Because are they actually going into the budget or assisting the individual and expediting that? And I'm hearing different things coming out that they're really just gathering information. And so that's why I was just curious as when it was brought up by a trustee to bring in Region 1, well, who's here? Are they CPAs? Do they have school finance backgrounds? Are they ex-superintendents? Like, who is actually here and doing this work? Like, who are these individuals?
Rodriguez, you want to respond to that?
And what are, and I'd like them to be here too, the next couple meetings.
Okay, good evening, trustees and Dr. Rivera. So there is a team under Romalda Ruiz over at Region 1 that is responsible for this project that was brought up in December with the board motion. And her team does consist of CPAs, school finance experience. They are very knowledgeable in what they are doing for us. It is I guess you could say a joint effort between them and us, and the data that we're providing them and the data that they are in turn turning around and providing back to us with their recommendations, with what they're seeing. So it is a team effort on both ends, and I would be glad to have them come show you.
Yeah, because the next part of my question would be that as far as them coming, like initially, I never asked for the data to be reviewed for 25, 26 because the person that knows what they're doing is back there in their office. So it's not like I want to verify their work. They're the ones that got this whole thing. Well, they didn't get it whole started, but participated in informing the community and also our trustees. So my question was, are they even helping expedite fixing the budget? Because I know 25, 26, you don't have accurate numbers right now,
So right now, the individual that came back to us in our department, he was tasked with audit.
First,
And so
right.
the 25, 26 budget, in order to get a more accurate, process going there, that's pretty much where Region 1 has
Right.
stepped in to assist us since audit was being
Finalized. So you just
Correct.
barely started on 25, 26 right now.
It's been for about a month now that we've
Okay.
been dabbling between both.
My other question was kind of to Dr. Rivera because the Region 1 people that we're talking about that are helping the budget department, because you informed us as a board that they recommended, the Region 1 recommended that the monthly reports on expenses, okay, that was not required as far as needing board approval or having to be presented and discussed.
Correct.
That's something that's been done since Weslaco's been open.
Yes.
And as a trustee for myself, removing that as a factor from where we're presenting monthly on our expenses and our revenue and how we're operating per month as far as updates, not doing that anymore for me would be something very uncomfortable as a trustee and would probably limit me and my capabilities and how functional I would be. So,
I got it. What they're saying, though, is just for information, and it can be an agenda item.
right, that we should vote
And
on.
we'll do it next month.
Yeah, and
It's just information, it's not approval.
right. But I would like to vote on it. That's what I'm trying to say. As a trustee, I would like to vote on it because it allows me to go on record and show the community on whether I approve or disapprove of the monthly expenditures. If you see a major decrease or fluctuations in transfers between line items or things like that, amendments affecting operations, like that's why, as a trustee, you don't want to lose that advantage, and neither the community. I've been here only 5 years. Some of the people have been here way much longer than me, and you always had presentations. It was always discussed. It was just a presentation and discussion item by the CFO at the time. That was good for us as trustees and also great for the community. I'm voicing openly that I hope that we don't lose that stays on the monthly agenda item, and that we continue to, because if we lose the right to vote on it, that means the community lost their right. You see, that's the way I see it. That's the way I define it. I'm giving up the right to take a vote on this monthly expenditure report and make a comment on it. That means that they lost their voice on it.
But it just.
And I just disagree with that. I don't completely.
But it just interim. And at the end of the year, you'll get the results. But again, it's information. And the guys in the back in the business department, but I understand they all agree there should be just information. Am I correct, Ms. Didi?
Correct, Dr. Rivera.
All, in that department, all the ones agree, it should be agenda, it should be information and not for approval. Again, I'll get back to you all and with whatever Region 1 says, what the guys in the back say, and we'll make that call.
I have a question, Mr. Nieto, if I can.
Go ahead.
And this is more for Eloy. So, the superintendent had a certain amount of spending authority. I don't remember what it is here. I think it's 50,000. And everything else has to be approved by the board.
Correct.
And so that report, that expenditure report, what are we approving?
Well, the monthly values.
So, but if they've already been approved, in my mind, it is more information because the expenditures themselves, they're either authorized by the superintendent under his authority under board policy, or they've already been approved by the board. But if you could look into, if the board's okay with that, if you could look into it and see what we're actually approving, and because I don't want to make a bigger deal out of something that's not a deal. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
On the agenda items, the board approves anything over, is it 100,000?
There might be 100.
Your authority is 100,000.
100,000.
But sir, again, like I said, let me re-intervene. All right, I understand what Trustee Castillo is saying that, well, he has a limit of 100,000 or 50,000, that's fine. But when you know that you have a budget deficit and you're buying things that are above and beyond, I don't know if he paid them out of pocket or we send it out of taxpayer monies, but everybody gets a bundt cake when we just come out of a meeting where we're short millions of dollars from the previous year, and we also know we have a deficit this year. I'm a taxpayer, right? And it don't matter whether you pay $500 to Weslaco ISD in taxes or you pay $50,000 or $29,415. It doesn't matter, okay? Because every single dollar counts for everyone. So as a parent, as a taxpayer, et cetera, you're right. There is a blanket $100,000, but maybe sometimes that blanket needs to be questioned, because I'll tell you what, when I heard about that, I didn't take it lightly. As a taxpayer, I had to cut those checks. I don't have them rolled into a mortgage. I got to write those checks out at the end of every year, and it hurts. I'm pretty sure it hurts Payne and all these other massive businesses, and even the person that pays $500, it hurts as well too, just the same amount.
And
So there has to be oversight.
something we can discuss at the next board meeting if it's agenda item.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Trustee Los Santos. I think it's important information. Just my question is, legally, what are we approving when we do that? That's my specific question, but I do think we should get that information.
Okay. So on Mr. Los Santos, just an FYI, so next board meeting, we'll have an agenda item on that so we can vote on it. And that way, the board votes on that and move forward. Okay?
Item number 2, I know I'm going to be moving along, but it's very important to me, the budget.
Okay.
So reductions, I already talked about this with Dr. Rivera in the last previous slides as well. Just when we're talking about reductions, we need more meat on the bones. It can't be overall, we're reducing it, we're doing it, but I need to know how at this point. And it's not, and it's just, like I think Cito Ramos says in All-Star Governance, right? He says verify, trust but verify. And so we need just more of that. Whoever's creating these presentations or working on them as a team, that's what needs to be there. What functions are being reduced? What's being closed? How much is that? Is it a one-time thing for only next year? Is that going to be permanently? Like, those are important questions to staff and departments as well too, as they start to minimize their resources. And then last is item number 3, and I'm going to send all this to Dr. Rivera, so that way you and your staff have it. I don't want anybody to cut off guard, and that way next meeting, plus you kind of know what I'm asking as far as what I feel the public needs to hear.
Okay.
Item number 3 is the sale of unused property. Like I said, which properties are being considered? We've been talking about it. I know the presentations may be coming soon. Which ones are they? Which ones are being considered? Why? Because I don't want to sell all off property, because nobody ever sells property. No business sells property unless they really, really need to, right? And so does this require voter approval as well too? Because these properties were paid for by taxpayers that are probably way before me, that I was even here. And I think that the community also should probably have a say in that, or at least take some community input as to how they feel about that. And
off the top of my head, one of the properties, if you think about it, Horton Elementary.
Right.
Not being used. We have, I don't know how many acres are there.
Right.
that we're not going to use it.
Right.
We'll probably condemn it and then go forward with that. That would be one of them. There's an area over there by Ibarra, I don't know how many acres that the school district doesn't use. So we could, sell that and have more funds for the budget.
Yeah.
But that's something we can discuss.
And then the final thing real quick is just, that this is the last thing, right? Because this is the last slide, and this
Okay.
is pretty much the last time we'll bring it up either too. The Weaver and Thompson and Horton deal that kind of went through last time. My original agenda item, like I said, was modified, limited, and also the oversight. I'm talking now, I'm talking about who I represent. So I know we're supposed to be a team, but at the end of the day, this seat belongs not to me or any of us up here, it belongs to them that are watching, the taxpayers and whatnot. So I feel that at that point that night when that motion was made, me and yourself, President Nieto, you and me were kind of taking the lead on that as far as the scope of work and also the cost and whatnot. The scope of work I even reduced, so it wasn't going to be 125,000 because things have come up and then more information has come out now that the whistleblower's back in office, so it was going to be reduced. And it wasn't to review financial data. That kind of alarmed me when I was informed about that this week. It was to find out how we received that data, how we got that presentation before last year that told us two different stories, right? CFO saying we were going to have a budget deficit in the millions in salaries, and then we get a presentation, the superintendent and the board get a presentation to state that there's new revenues and can pay for everything. How did that happen, and what internal protocols and breakdowns were they? That was the whole purpose of it. And then that motion that was made transitioned it where technically, right? I know the superintendent, I've said, he's already stated that he didn't create that slide. But technically, I'm gonna put it on the record here, that investigation was gonna review the budget process and the staff and the superintendent and his staff. That motion removed the board from their own investigation and gave the power to the superintendent and his staff. So technically, by technicality, the people that you're investigating are in charge of the investigation you approve. That for me felt like I stripped something from the community at that point, right? That's what bothers me, and I can't really sit on it, and I can't swallow it and just keep it down. I gotta put it out there. That's something that I feel we should participate. We should sit in when those companies are being discussed in the scope of work. We should participate in that as a board because we asked for the investigation to say, well, the superintendent's administration will take care of it. Well, they're the ones that are gonna be questioned and investigated. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense. So
And again,
I would like to add board members to that process just to review, because I don't know if we were stripped of our power that night to intervene or say anything, but at least to participate.
And again, there's something that we can discuss, and those that have the time, that want to participate, I don't have the time to participate, I'm going to tell you right now.
I will.
But you will, okay,
Yes.
and maybe
And anyone else
one or
that
two
wants
of the
to.
other board members can, and actually you can join the committee that, remember, Mr. Castillo, you mentioned on the financial. Actually, you were one of them, Mr. Mark, and then we'll see what other two can join you.
And for the committees, just, I know they had one where they called me about safety, but I have a job, working in the educational field.
Right.
And so I don't get off till 5.
Yeah, correct.
Anytime after 5, I can make it.
As you mentioned
And I'd be
that
glad to
at the
join.
last board meeting.
Thank you.
So that's what we'll try to do. All right? A couple of questions, Dr. Rivera. It's not in the budget, but where are we with band fields? Where, I know you had mentioned it that the last time, the 2 band fields for the turf for the band.
That is part, if you go back and look at, on page 6,
Okay?
the financial advisors,
Okay?
we're meeting with them, and based on what they told us, that these turfs can be used under Proposition A.
Okay.
It's A, right?
It's A.
A.
It's
Okay. So, again, we're working with them, then I'll come back with the board to share the information they gave us.
Okay. I happened to drive by the tennis courts over at Weslaco High School, and they're completely demolishing all the, because, they have to revamp that. I don't know about the one at East, but what's a projected date of when they'll be finishing that? Mr.
America?
Freddie or Americo?
Yeah. For East?
For Weslaco High.
Oh, Weslaco
Because I
High.
saw that they had demolished or,
Mid-June?
The official date is this summer in June,
okay,
but we're looking to see if they can finish sooner.
okay. And there was no renovation at Weslaco East, correct? It was just Weslaco High?
Correct, there is not necessarily at East High School.
Okay, thank you. And how about, where are we with the egg farm?
It's on tonight's agenda.
Okay. And the demolition of the pool area also?
Yes, we're working on that one. It's got a little slow here, but it'll be done soon.
Yes, we're working through that already.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions so we can continue? All right, thank you, Dr. Rivera.
Thank you.
Number 8, discussion and possible action for the Board of Trustees to consider approval of the annual comprehensive financial report period ending June 30th, 2025. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, this is a presentation.
Is this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is this one, right?
Yes.
Yes, and there's an additional attachment.
Okay.
Well, good evening. I am Esmeralda Iniguez. I'm a partner with Carrix and Ingram. And with me is Toribio Bujano. He's the senior manager with our firm as well. And we're here to present the results of the audit for the district's fiscal year ended June 30, 2025. And hopefully present additional clarity on the financial statements and what's being presented. So, with the completion of this audit, the district is in compliance with requirements from various agencies, of course TEA and other grantor agencies that require an annual an audit every year. Obviously, it's also information required by the Board of Trustees, taxpayers, and other interested parties. Weslaco ISD does go beyond the basic requirement of just providing financial statements and getting them audited. They do provide what's called an annual comprehensive financial report. This includes additional historical and statistical information. And this qualifies them to participate in the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. It's based on what information is included in the report and how it's being presented. They did qualify for that recognition for their prior year report ending June 30, 2024. And the report that you have in front of you also qualifies for those requirements. So if you turn to page 17 in that report, it is over 200 pages, so we'll try to walk you through the highlights of the report. On page 17, you'll find our independent auditor's report. We did audit, obviously, the government-wide financial statements. The major funds that are presented this year by the district are, it's always the general fund, and then based on activity, if other funds are selected as major. This year is the 2024 Bonds Construction Fund. So I know that was a question earlier. You'll be able to see a column with those balances. And then, of course, the aggregate remaining funds. So the opinion that we're presenting in our profession, there are different types of opinions that you can provide. The opinion that we're presenting today is a non-modified opinion, which is the best opinion available. And what that represents is that the district's financial statements are fairly stated in all material respects, and they're in compliance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. There were no audit areas where an opinion could not be rendered, and we do have an emphasis of matter paragraph. This year, the district was required to implement a new pronouncement for compensated absences. So there was a total adjustment of $8.8 million to net position on the government-wide statement, which is the long-term resources. So this did not have an impact in the fund level in the day-to-day operations of the district. Okay. So we're going to start off by looking at Exhibit C5. This is included in the report, and it presents the right-hand part of the column, these are just the summarized balances. I'm putting 2024 for your reference. So every district is required to adopt a budget before the beginning of the fiscal year.
What page is that, I'm sorry?
C5, let me see.
41.
41?
41.
Yes. Page 41, that's a detailed breakdown. So the original budget column is what was adopted before the beginning of the year. One of the requirements is that districts adopt a balanced budget, which means your revenues cover your expenses. So those were the amounts that were approved as original budgets. For 2025, it was $193 million in revenues and $193 million in expenses. Then, of course, as the year goes by, you reassess that based on what is actually occurring. So throughout the year, I believe there were a total of 11 amendments. So at the end of the year, the final numbers resulted in amended revenues of $200 million and amended expenses and transfers of $232 million, giving you a loss, right, of $31.8 million. That's based on all the adjustments to the original amendment, original budget. So that's what you expected to land at year end. What the last column is the actual. So the actual revenues, and these are audited numbers, the actual revenues came in at $198 million. Your expenses plus your transfers total $212 million, giving you a loss of $14.4 million, which we discussed in our last visit. I do want to point out that there's a new pronouncement coming up next year, well, the ongoing year, where you will be required to add additional information in the report as to significant variances between original and amended budget. So it's a great thing that you're already concerned with that and looking at that to see how you can improve that, because that will be required information that needs to be included. So on this page is where, that's a copy of the C5 in detail. That's what's presented. The line items there highlighted are the functions where you had actual expenditures that exceeded the final budget for each of those functions. And the district does adopt the budget by function. So there is a significant deficiency that is being reported. So there was the instruction, community services, and debt service that exceeded budget. So although at the end, in total expenses, you have 211 million versus 215. So in total, you were okay, but because there's this requirement that you have to comply by function, we're required to disclose significant deficiency for this. Any questions? Well, I guess we'll hold the questions through the end, right?
I think, yeah, well, it's just kind of hard to read, I think, for people watching, but. Yeah, but like you said, instruction, because instruction, you had 93.8 million there. That's why you're saying that that you're talking about this category and within this, because it was 93, but it was at 107. So it exceeded the per line item.
Or the original budget before the beginning of the year,
Right.
yes, was 93. Then it was later amended at 107.1.
That
You still
exceeded.
ended up exceeding it by 748,000.
Yeah.
Right. And that was the biggest one.
Right.
And so because this is reported in the financial statements, in the report, the district is required to provide a written corrective action plan. So that's also included in the report in page 207.
Yeah. So that's, I just want to make that clear because some people might get confused by it. So there was an amendment from the original and then you still exceeded that. So that's why that's there.
Yes, correct. So the balance sheet, and I just want to walk through the 14 million loss, right, that was experienced during the year. So because you didn't have enough revenues to cover all the expenditures, you need to, it comes from your existing fund balance. So here we have for comparison 24-25. As you can see, for the year ended in 25, you had total assets of 98.9 million. Liabilities and deferred inflows of resources were 27.8 million. So if you subtract the two, you have the remaining fund balance of 71.1 million. So we also wanted to present what we did surrounding the fund balance. So again, last year, the report, the audited financials showed 85.5 million. So some of the audit procedures that we conducted surrounding this area include the analysis of changes in equity accounts and review of components of equity and their classifications. We trace beginning balance to working trial balance. We compare the balances to those of prior year. We reviewed changes in equity accounts and reviewed proprietary of presentation on financial statements and note disclosures. So as a result of those procedures, we noted that as of July 1st, 2024, beginning fund balance in the general fund agreed to prior year audited ending balance at June 30, 2024. This supports that the district's prior year books were properly closed into equity as expected, so no issues there. No adjustments to equity accounts in the general fund were noted during the year. An audit adjustment was proposed to reclassify restricted fund balance to assigned fund balance in accordance with the district's policies and governmental accounting standards. The reclassification had no impact on the total fund balance. At June 30, 2025, the general fund ending fund balance properly reflects the net change in fund balance resulting from deficiency of revenues under expenditures and other financing uses for the year ended June 30, 2025, and that's the 14.4 million loss, right, that was experienced in the general fund.
I have a question on that last slide.
Yes.
Now, when you're discussing reclassification of funds for the public, if the reclassification of funding from state to federal, because that's where it happened, or do you know the item number where the reclassification happened?
Okay. We can go into that
Later.
further
Okay.
in the next slide.
Bueno.
Yes. So I want to give you the picture of what is this fund balance, right? What makes that up? So again, here we have 2024 just for comparison. So of the total 71.1 million at the end of the year, and as audited, you have 2.4 million that represent non-spendable. Again, this is assets minus liabilities. So the non-spendable portion is the non-liquid assets, inventory and prepaids. Restricted is 6.3 million. These are primarily grants and things that are restricted by external parties. And then you have 9.3 million of assigned. These are designated, it can be designated, unofficially designated by district leadership or the board. And these are primarily capital projects. So there was the reclassification that we proposed was regarding restricted to assigned. So because there was no not restricted by external parties, it's just a technicality on what you call each of the restrictions. So because there was not a restriction by external parties, it needed to be reclassified as assigned. Okay, and then the remaining balance is of 52.9 million is unassigned, which means that's what the district can use for general operations.
Okay.
Now, of the 9.3 million, again, because it's not an official or externally tied to any compliance requirement, the district does have the option to utilize that funds, unassign it, basically.
I got a quick question.
Yes.
From 2024, we have our average monthly expenses at 14.7 million, and then 2025, 17.6. Any idea why it went up to 3 million or so?
ESSER? Right, yes, okay.
ESSER funds.
So, in 2024, a lot of the payroll primarily was covered through ESSER funds. So you
Okay.
didn't have that in your general fund. This year, you were at the tail end in the beginning of the year, so you didn't have as much ESSER funding to cover for those funds. So it came back to the general
Okay,
fund,
I
basically,
see.
where there always were. So we took the average monthly expenditures just based on this year's expenses, and the 5.9 represents 3 months of expenses.
So if I want to jump in here real quick, and I wasn't going to ask that, but I'll piggyback off of that, glad you brought that up. So just to clarify, because you still have individuals up here that say, what you just explained right now is that those operational salary costs went up because we absorbed ESSER and it impacted our overall operational costs, right? As far as staffing salaries, right? Those salaries transitioned over into this year.
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's the whole point. We were told that there was no salaries rolling over into last year. That's why we gave raises and stipends, because we didn't know that millions of salaries were going to be influx, because we were told, it came out even in the paper on Channel 5 and the Monitor and whatnot. And we even got recognized in rewards. That $15 million ESSER deficit, you hear some people still say that was taken care of. That's ESSER that rolled into last year, and then we increased it because we were told it didn't exist, because we gave raises on top of that debt, and then we gave stipends, millions of dollars to staff. That's the whole point that I've been talking about since July of 2025, and thank you for pointing that out. For the public here, I want them to, if you could put the slide back on, I want them to look at the slide more than me. Anything in yellow, okay, when they put it back on,
The other slide.
that yellow,
Yes.
for the public, because sometimes they don't understand, that yellow is your savings. That's technically like your unassigned savings. You can do whatever you want with that as a school, or technically somewhat to similar limitations. Everything else in color is pretty much taken. So we did take a hit on our fund balance. In 2024, we had 65.4 million. We finished off last year and it went down to 52.9.
Yes, by the loss.
Since July of 2025 to that's what I'm telling you, I don't even need an audit. From July 2025 to December 2025, we've been told that there was no deficit and that we had no impact to our fund balance. Okay, when we approved the budget at the beginning of last year, like you stated, we were told that there was no rollover. That's all I've been trying to say for months now. And this is the other point. You brought up transfers. You said that there was a lot of transfers there, right? You stated it even in the last meeting in January that we had significant amounts of transfers before the end of last year. You said that there was transfers happening within the district. My question to you is that when those transfers were happening, and staff was being moved to federal, because I deal with funding, I deal with federal funds, and we do transfers, reclassifications, all that stuff. So that I know by heart, regardless of whatever department you work in, the guidelines, the allowables and unallowables are all the same across the board. You can say that, right? Yes? Those rules fall in practice for everybody.
Right.
I've been very patient with this, but at the end of the day, the district was doing transfers. They stated that there was no deficit. The superintendent administration stated there was no deficit, there was no overage, and no impact to fund balance, and that we had a balanced budget. That's what the board was being told for months, the community as well. But if you were doing transfers, that means that you knew that you had to classify people so that you could lower the cost and impact the state, right? That's primarily probably where it was lowered. That's the whole point of why I wanted your report, is to identify those transfers that were taking place. What was being moved? Was it people from state going to federal? Were people being reclassified? Like those are the type of things you need to know, because if that's the case, then it's 100% fact that you knew that people knew that we had a salary overage before going into this year. That's what I've been trying to prove and talk about. Okay, because that means that and I'm asking you, that means the administration would know going into 25-26 that there was already a salary overage, and we gave raises and stipends again this current year. making the problem even larger. And that's all I've been trying to say for months. And I just wanted to ask you that. Thank you.
Thank you. Continue.
Well, and I went back to C5, because if you see after all the amendments that were
Right.
done throughout the year, there was an approval for transfers out of 17 million. However, the actual transfers from out of the general fund
Right.
were only 1.3 million. So I just wanted to.
Right,
point that out.
because those are the construction funds that at the end of the day then were reversed. And at a board meeting, I asked if they needed board approval because to let those funds loose, they needed board approval. Right, remember it came to the board and we voted on it. And so when they reversed them, and I'm not saying that there's any type of malicious activity behind it or it's illegal, but in other words, it's like my wife asking me, well, how much is in the checking account? So I go to the savings and I take out 10,000 or 5,000 and I put it in the checking account and I see there's 5 in there, right? But realistically, I got to then put it back. She takes the receipt. Okay, great. There's 5 in the checking. Then I take it back from the checking, put it back in the savings. That's kind of the movement of funds that also changes the total amounts within your savings and within your general operating funds. Like I know what that reversal is at 17 million. That was construction that they were talking about. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the general fund. And just because the question came up earlier, if you, and I don't have a slide for that, but on the report on Exhibit C3, page 39, you'll find the column for the 2024 bonds construction. Well, that's the revenues and expenses. And on page 37, you'll see the assets and liabilities that you have on that fund. So up on the.
That's as of June 30th though, right?
Yes, June 30, 2025, yes. So up on the slide, I have the governmental activities. This is the general fund and all the other funds that the district has under the long-term resources. So in here, we bring in the capital assets, the long-term debt, and liabilities related to pension, other post-employment benefits, and compensated absences as required by governmental accounting standards. For 2025, current assets were 275 million, non-current assets were 141 million, and total assets were 416 million. Deferred outflow of resources is 30 million, and current liabilities 39 million. Long-term liabilities, 332 million, with total liabilities of 371 million. Deferred inflows represent 45 million, giving you a net position of 30.3 million in 2025. So the main variances there are deferred outflows and inflows. Those are mainly related to actuarially determined pension and other post-employment benefit liabilities.
This is the TRS.
Yes.
Long-term liabilities? Oh.
Yes.
Okay, I see what you had there. So net position changed, 31%. What is the impact on that? When a net position is falling for a school district? Is there a negative impact to that? Does it matter? When your net position is falling? Like, just so the public, so they can understand, like, does it have any real value to it, or?
Well, again, the main reason is due to the actuarially determined pension and OPEB. So these are the long-term liabilities. If everyone was to retire at the same time, those would be your liabilities. Okay. So those keep on changing because, there's investments in there. So they kind of go up and down. The district really has no control over that. They're just required to pay the pension fee or the payments that they're required to submit.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was the financial audit. Now we're going to move on to the single audit over federal awards. So total expenditures of federal awards, these are all the federal grants that the district received during 2025 year end, were 35.9 million. This year there were three programs that were tested as major programs. Actually, the child nutrition cluster includes 3 grants, but it's required to be tested as one. So that was 14.2 million. Title II Part A, supporting effective instruction, that was 1.1 million. And Title IV Part A, student support and academic enrichment program, was 1.2 million. And to see additional details of what are the other federal grants that are included, you can turn to page 200 and look at that. So out of in that part of the audit, we issued 2 separate reports. The first one is the report on internal control over financial reporting on compliance and other matters based on an audit of financial statements performed in accordance with government auditing standards. So again, in our profession, there are different types of opinions that can be issued. We are rendering a non-modified opinion, which is the best type of opinion available. And then the other report is is the report on compliance for each major program and on internal control over compliance required by the uniform guidance. We audited the requirements that could have a direct and material effect on each of the 3 programs discussed. And the opinion that we're rendering is also unmodified. Here we have, there's a page in the report, page 196, that includes the schedule of findings and question costs. And it gives you a summary of the results of the audits, the opinions that we've already mentioned. And then we're required to disclose here if there are any material weaknesses that were identified. We did not note any. We noted the one significant deficiency that we discussed regarding budget and no non-compliance material to the financial statements was noted. On the federal awards, the same thing, we're required to disclose material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. Neither one was noted, and no material non-compliance required to be disclosed. So on the report that we just provided, there's a tab on the back. There's communications with governance. This report outlines auditors' responsibilities, management responsibilities. It has a section in there for judgments and sensitive estimates that are considered in arriving at some of the balances. We looked at that and we ensured that they're in compliance with standards. And there's also the summary of audit adjustments that were provided. And lastly, the management communication letter. So if there were observations that were not considered to be material weaknesses or significant deficiencies or a material noncompliance, we include those in this report as control deficiencies or improvement points or other noncompliance not material. So we did meet with Cabinet and the finance team and discuss those in detail so that they understand. And they also provided management action for each of those for your review and in case you have any questions related to that. That concludes my presentation. I can address any other questions that you might have.
Questions? I'll begin on the left. Dr. Jaime?
A lot of information here. Thank you. But just you mentioned your unmodified opinion is the highest opinion available, which is a good thing, correct? And so even though our fund balance took a significant hit during this audit year, how's that so? What do you in a quick little, just for the public, our financial status right now, our financial state as a district, how do you feel about that?
Right. So our opinion consists of presenting what it is. It's not that you're very strong financially. It's not giving a rating like other industries would do that, right? So this opinion is basically you reported what it is. You had a loss. You reported a loss. So The way the opinion would be other than unmodified would be, for example, if we found a misstatement and we propose the adjustment and the district doesn't agree with it or doesn't want to adjust their books and wants to present as is, well, that's when we would issue something other than unmodified. Or if not all the information, not all the disclosures are included, then we would, take exceptions to that.
So you feel like, the district's been transparent with all the information that was provided and, responsive to, some of the deficiencies that were found?
Yes, as a result of our audit procedures, again, we look at a sample basis.
Mm-hmm.
So based on what we looked at, we feel comfortable that the the balances presented in the report are fairly stated.
Thank you. Salah.
Coach Cuellar? Thank you, Dr. Jaime.
So, bottom line is, we are in compliance?
Yes, you are in compliance.
Thank you.
Mr. Ben Castillo?
Yes, what was the final deficit number? Was it that 14 million?
On the general fund, yes.
When you say, when you're qualifying it, what does that mean?
Well, you have a lot of federal funding, right? So that's included in other special revenue funds. You have that bond construction fund for capital projects, so that's other funding. So when we talk about the general fund, that doesn't mean that's all the district uses, right? So that's why it qualifies.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so 14 million deficit at the end of June 30th, 2025, right?
Yes.
What function did that come out of mostly?
Instruction was the biggest, well, yes. I mean, it usually is instruction. That's where it's payroll.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's your heavy
Function 11.
expense.
So
Function 11.
mostly payroll then? Mm-hmm. So Doc, I guess my question to you is, when you guys come up with a plan, what we need to see, because most of it came out of fund balance, and if it's payroll, we got to see that $14 million reduced, so it's not a recurring cost every year.
Correct.
Correct.
So, I know you guys are working on it, but yeah, when it's ready, we could get that presented to the board, so we can see how we're reducing that number. And then, I also thank you for your presentation. I also want to thank the business office. I know it's a lot of work to go through the audit season. All of you guys, thank you for your time. I'm sure you guys work during holidays and all that kind of good stuff, so appreciate it. Thank you for getting it in on time and getting all the information to the auditors. So thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Sedna?
Just similar to what the other trustees were asking. I'm good.
And so, do we have a corrective action plan in the future?
Yes, there's one in here.
Yes, there's a corrective action plan that district staff provided
Okay,
that is included in the report of the steps they plan to take.
Page 207.
okay. Mr. Los Santos, final
Yes, sir.
thoughts?
Final thoughts, like I said, I already made my points earlier in the slides that you provided, and thank you. So that way our community can completely understand the situation and whatnot. And so can the trustees as well.
Right.
I'd really like just to take the time, because I know that usually, and I know this isn't your fault, we get this a week prior, right? So I just got it today when I sat down. But I understand that there was issues and that you weren't getting the data on time.
Right.
And you were put into, your car rigs was put into a situation that typically is not general, right, across the
Right.
board for other school districts. I'd like to thank you for the work that you did, because like Trustee Rodriguez mentioned earlier, he said that, your findings and whatnot with the documentation, that's because you had a very small amount of people, okay? And coming from Ms. Rodriguez's office herself too, right? Working with those other individuals in your office. It's amazing, because what is the impact if a district doesn't submit this on time? What is the impact to a school district?
Yeah, there could be all kinds of
Major impacts, right?
issues,
Hey,
yes.
major impacts to our taxpayers, major impacts to our staff, okay? And you had two individuals, some that worked through Christmas, okay, to get this turned in on time. You got one individual that he could have retired, right, after being targeted and allegedly the things that he went through. And he decided to stay for his community, for his staff, and for the kids that walk through these doors. And I just want everyone to know that the impact to our school system, if we didn't turn this on time, if that person had left in December, would be catastrophic. And so I don't know what he is to everyone else, but he's surely my hero. And I go to war with that individual any day of the week. And if I'm getting financials and his name is on it, that's the only person I'm going to believe and trust. I want to thank you all for all your work. And your staff.
Thank you, Mr. Los Santos. We'll continue. Is this an action item, Dr. Rivera? Yes. Right? Discussion of possible action for the Board of Trustees to consider approval of the annual comprehensive financial report, period ending June 30, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Jaime, second by Mr. Los Santos, correct?
Yes.
Okay. To approve the annual comprehensive financial report ending June 30th, 2025. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Let's continue on with Lone Star Governance. February 2026, Dr. Rivera.
Yes. Ms. Solano?
Yes.
Make the presentation.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Rivera and community. So the LSG presentation for this month focused solely on our middle of the year kinder through second grade MAP reading and math results, right? So you'll see it there in the board monitoring calendar where we'll go over goal 1 and goal 2, and also constraint 2.1, which we'll talk about class counts and waivers in place. Right, so I want to just make sure that I reference the next slide, which we talked about at the beginning of the year. This time around for this school year, NWEA MAP updated its norms. So for example, if you look at the MAP growth mathematics chart, right, the ones that are highlighted in yellow, we monitor our scores at the meets performance level, right? We care to align this to our third grade achievement scores or ratings. So we monitor kinder through second grade data at the meets performance level. So last year we were reporting data. If a student got a RIT score of a 60, then you were at the meets. This year you have to be at either a 78 or a 77 to be designated at the meets, right? For growth, MAP growth reading, last year, again, we presented at the 60th percentile, and you see what's highlighted in yellow, the new scores that it would take for you to be at the meets performance level. So reading dropped about a point or two, depending on what beginning, middle, or end of the year assessment you are. Math went up a good 17 to 18 points for you to be designated at the meets performance level. So it just got more difficult to be a student that is performs at the meets performance level. So I want you to keep that into consideration as we look into the data. So goal 1, so we start with kinder, right? The overarching goal, again, in the purple at the very top, is to ensure that our STAR reading performance level at the meets in third grade by the end of this school year is at a 56%. So how do we monitor this? We monitor it by looking at our kindergarten performance in the middle of the year map. Right, so you see there, we started the Lone Star governance work that year of 2023, 2024. We didn't adopt the goals until the January, that middle of the year, right? However, I'm including that data because we started having this conversation and setting our goals based on this. So right now for middle of the year, right, and we're comparing middle of the year to middle of the year for the 3 years, we are at a 40% performance at the meets. So 40% of our kindergartners are already performing at the meets performance level. However, our end of the year target, right, in the instructional weeks to come, is a 54% target. I do want to make reference to the table that you received there to your left-hand side. I did change it a little bit. Dr. Cinto Ramos met with the administration staff and made some recommendations, making the data more intentional and easier to read. So one of the things that we look at is how many students are we from meeting the goal or the target, right? And then when we met with campus principals, they themselves dissected the data to see how many students does that mean or equal to at their campus too. So every principal already knows how many students they are from meeting that end of the year target, or they've surpassed if they've already met the target. So this is, I do want to make reference, and I'll make reference in this one slide, just so that we wanted to stay true to that new norms slide, because you will see a big difference in the math data. You see a minimal difference in the reading, But that little light purple shaded bar, about 37, that would have been what we would have presented with last year's data, if it would have been apples to apples comparison, right? And I just want to make sure that I respect that and I give the recognition to teachers' hard work and principals in the classrooms and in schools. So the next slide goes over the kinder performance for reading in middle of the year. If you look at our campuses, a lot of our campuses are inching their way to that end of the year target, right? Which we are very proud of. However, we do know that there are some campuses that are further away from that end of the year target, and we're working with those campuses, having our coordinators, having our academic officers, having conferences with principals or their deans in ensuring how is it that we're gonna get to, you know, from week 20 to week 36 to ensure that we get closer or we meet that end of the year target at every campus, not only as a district, right? So I do want to make note too that in kindergarten, we made some changes. I don't know if you remember that or recall that kindergarten was always outperforming the other grade levels, right? As it was read to them over headphones, right? Using all of that. However, students in kindergarten, as they're getting ready to read or they are showing proficiency, the test stops reading to them, right? So it gets a little bit more rigorous, adaptive to the student, right? So we are making note of those changes in the assessment and administration and planning with that in mind. Next, GPM, which is 1.2, monitors first grade students at the meets performance level for RLA, again, to support our third grade STAR goal. And in first grade, what we see is 2023 was at a 32%, 2024 was at a 35%, 2025 we're at a 36%, right, at the meets performance level. So very comparable to the other years as well. So when you look at or you turn the page to the individual campuses, again, our end of the year target for the campuses are at a 46. We are 102 students away in first grade from meeting the end of the year target in the overall all student population in the table there. So again, one of the works or the study that we did with principals is how many students does it take at each of the grade levels in order to meet your end of the year target, to be more intentional, right? And when we look at specific data is how many are gonna be performance hoppers versus droppers, right? That is what we, if you look at the campus data per se, the next slide, you see some campuses already either meeting or surpassing the goal or literally almost at the end of the year target goal, right? So we're looking at what's working at these campuses, what strategies they're using. Principals were shared in a survey, what works, what needs more attention, where do they need more support. So we're looking at all of that to see how is it that we can better support also at the district level, but at the campus level for teachers in the classroom.
Just want to say, I've noticed Silva going up in each of these
Yes.
bars, so good job to the
We
principal.
we are very proud of the work, the intentionality and instruction, the focus. It makes a world of a difference, right? So yes, thank you, Mr. Castillo, for that observation. So second grade, GPM 1.3. This is our strongest cohort, right? And so we think about it, and we started the LSG work 3 years ago, and we're, you know, as a CNI team, we were thinking about, is it because they've gone for 3 years of progress monitoring with this data? Very intentional, right? But if you look at that second grade purple bar, right, we were at 39, 2023, 39, 24, 25, 47, right, for this school year, which means for third grade teachers hearing this and listening to this, you have a very strong cohort of students coming up, right? So we're very proud of this data. 42 students as a district to meet the end of the year target in RLA, second grade, right? Again, 10 elementary campuses divided by 42, right? It's very possible, but we have to be very intentional and stay very focused on what has worked and stay true to that work, right? What has worked. So again, we're very proud overall in our, I just want to share, right? Like if you look at the next slide at the campuses, look at how positive in our RLA at the campus level, the next slide, please. This graph shows the bar graphs, right? Look at all of the campuses, right, moving their way up to that end of the year target. And again, I think principals have shared that just even the collaboration that has happened with Region 1 Math has trickled to the other content areas and those instructional strategies or practices, learning walks with the coordinators as well, has helped and benefited this data as well. So we're very proud of the work that's being done in our early childhood grade levels, along with our principals, right, for their hard work. So the next slide, I added it, and you got a revised presentation on Friday, because I wanted you to see, I received a question from one of the trustees on how is this impacting our third grade data? And I wanted you to see the overarching goal. How does it impact? If you notice, the dark purple is our actual STAR tests. We've had an increase in the last 2 years of LSG, so we are hoping to continue that trend upward. We may not be hitting that red target, end of the year target that we said, but we are very close, and we're very proud of that work, right? I shared with other administrators our LSD data, and they're like, wow, can't believe you're almost close to that 60% target from the state. So to be at that, and third grade, if you've been a third grade teacher, you know it's difficult because it's the transition between early childhood and STAR grade levels, right? So kudos to all the teachers and the students and the parents, right, for supporting. So our data in RLA looks very promising, and we're reporting that we are on track to meeting the goals. What is working? So we left the next slide similar to the beginning of the year because we felt we needed more time, and what has been working at the beginning of the year that we identified as strategies, instructional strategies, we want to keep and be faithful to till the end of the year because we feel it has been giving us results, right? So we want to continue. We see it where the adoption is implemented with fidelities. We are seeing high-performing students, right? We're seeing good data, good, solid PLCs that are true to lesson delivery and planning. We are seeing student outcomes and conversations just increase. We are seeing a lot of explicit instruction, very direct instruction and differentiating to student needs. We are seeing that intentionality in the schedules, right? And of course, what we want to continue strengthening, and again, we ask for more time until the end of the year because we are seeing that it's working, is strengthening the collaboration between our special pop groups, right? Our special ed teachers are now part of this planning, are part of the general ed PD, are part of taking place in resources and in aligning their resources to their special pops. And more than anything, I think one thing that we all can agree on, and the principals give us a lot of feedback on, is progress monitoring is key, right? When you report, when you check, right, it gives us those results. So again, being very intentional and continuing this phonological also foundation. We understand the lower grades are key to our foundation, to strong readers, and we want to continue seeing that strong readers will become strong writers, right? And will do great in math as well. So that is goal 1. I will move on to goal 2. In goal 2, mathematics, you will see a shift, right? So I started with the new norms because the new norms went from scoring a 60 to be at the meets last year. I was reporting that a 60 was at the meets performance level. Now you have to be a 78 or 77 to be at that. So when we talked to MAP and we reached out to NWA MAP because we were definitely, one of the principals just shared with me, she's like, it's very demoralizing when we share this data with teachers because we're doing so much and we feel we're moving forward, but the data says otherwise, right? So when we actually have hopefully a conference call with MAP to see if everyone else is seeing that, but one of their studies showed in one of the presentations that they came to do in September is that 2020 norms, right? What you were expected to perform at the meets performance level, and in their new norms, their new study 2025, it is more difficult to attain the meets if not everybody would be a meets performance level child, right? So in order to be aligned to STAR, you now are required a higher score at the meets performance level, unlike reading, right? So the overarching goal for goal number 2 is to be at the meets performance grade level in math, and I'll report very positive news for third grade math, but you won't see the same trend for K for second because of the new norms, right? So GPM 2.1 kindergarten at the meets percent. So you will see 2023, 51%, 51% for 24, 25. So middle of the year, we were almost there at that end of the year target, right? But then you see dark purple for 25-26 with the new norms. I would be reporting, or I'm reporting 18% at the meets. Again, this goes from students having to attain a 60 to now students having to attain a 77, 78 score in the test in order to equal to a star grade performance level. If I would have done apples to apples, it would have been 39%, but that is no longer the case with the new norm. So definitely our administration, our teachers have to come together to decide, is the new Lincoln study, is it aligned to this year's results for third grade math, right? Or is this a product of something else that we're seeing it impact our math scores, right? You have the same table where it tells you how far away we are from the target. I do want to make note, and I know that it's one of the questions that I received. If you notice in that yellow GPM 2.1 bar, it says that our end of the year target in 5 years would be a 70, and the purple or bluish for star is a 60, right? We do have to come back together to realign our GPM target to our goal target, as we have surpassed it, but are still not seeing now with the new norms the results where we want to be, right? So if we're saying third grade needs to be at a 60, but we're saying kinder has to be at a 70, it's not aligned, right? So we do want to come together with MAP and the experts, and how can we align this better, right, for our targets for our district. So if you look at the next slide, you see each campus at their kinder, their own campus, kinder of the middle of the year meets performance, right? We have mostly all campuses. We do have 3, right, at that lower bottom. But, one of the things that we notice in the feedback that we received is students are being asked to answer questions that they have not viewed or seen or been taught, right, since the beginning. So automatically, then it drops you, right, a level. Right, so we've addressed this concern with MAP. They are hoping, they're gonna actually have a conference call tomorrow with their own team specialists and get back to us, as that was a concern that was noted across multiple campuses.
Was that a MAP problem or an us problem?
That was a MAP.
Okay.
Yes, so they are being tested, students are being assessed directly as they introduce or they start the test with their grade level questions. So it doesn't necessarily align to our pacing guide.
Okay.
So when you look at GPM 2.2, this is first grade at the meets performance level. You see it again, 2023, 34% at the meets, 24, 37% at the meets. The new norms hit this year, we dropped to 14%, right? Would have been 28%, but we're at 14% with the new norms, right? Having 384 students more needing to be on target in order to meet that 51%. So even though we were seeing gains in our data from previous year with the new norms, we have now dropped, right? So again, we're waiting on a response from MAP to better align our strategies and our needs and our targets, and I will get back to you all with that response as well, right? Then the next slide, you see first grade performance by campus. Again, you see it here, end of the year target, again, 51%. And then you look at second grade, right? You look at second grade and you see the 32, the 35, again, gain every year, and the new norms hit and we dropped, right? Again, with that understanding that it went from a 60 to 78 or 77%. So this is something that we are closely studying as we feel that the efforts that have been put in the work with Region 1, with Blue Bonnet, our newly adopted curriculum, we're seeing a lot of positives, but yet our data in the lower grades, and now that there's consistency in a curriculum in place, is obviously not reflected with the new norms in MAP, right? So you have the data there, individualized by campus for second grade, middle of the year MAP. Kleckler held, you see it right there, right, at the 30. So great kudos to Kleckler held and the other campuses who are striving, right, towards that end of the year target. But I can assure you that every principal has accounted for each student and knows exactly where they need to be at for the end of the year. However, so you look at our third grade. So how does kinder through second math data impact? If you see the dark purple, you've seen the gains in the last 2 years of LSG work, right? We've gone from a 40 to a 46%, 6% increase at the meets performance level. We are hoping that with the strategies and with the work and the validation, and I think the feedback, and principals can attest to this, the feedback that Region 1 has given us through our learning walks, in our implementation PDs, has been tremendous and very positive, right? So we're hoping that that dark purple at the end of the year just gets better, even though we're having difficulty understanding the new norms for MAP kinder through second, right? But we have seen a positive impact in the overarching goal 1 and 2, right? So I'm happy to report on that. And again, for what is working and what is not, we want to continue with the same recommendations we did at the beginning of the year, because we really feel strongly that we need more time to continue impacting, the work that is being done in the classrooms more positively. And we feel, again, fidelity to the curriculum, to the instructional practices, to the time that teachers invest in planning, internalizing, and rehearsing lessons will give us more results. So lastly, the constraint is on class counts. And in class counts, we report only the campuses who were a C or less in their domain 1 from last school year. So these are the campuses. So there was a question regarding Northbridge Elementary. However, Northbridge is properly staffed, but they decided to use that one teacher in a grade level in need of assistance. So that is why it picks up their waiver counts in another grade level, right? So I am happy to report that we monitor the class counts every Monday and Friday. Our office receives the class reports, and all campuses are in compliance. And again, Northbridge is because they decided to use that teacher that in another area of need for their campus action plan, right? And that is my presentation, Mr. Nieto.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Solano. Questions or on the presentation, Dr. Jaime?
I guess more comments, congratulations on the reading. I know a lot of hard work's being done in the classrooms. There are teachers, campuses, principals, great job with being on track with the reading. On the math, I know with these norms going up from 60 to 77%, and then us implementing a new curriculum with the Blue Bonnet, is this, seeing what we're seeing now, is that something that you still feel confident that, this dip is going to pick up as we continue with our adjusting to the new curriculum?
Yes, sir. And we actually just met with Region 1 on Friday. We just got awarded, we got nominated for a Blue Bonnet Award for Best Implementation, right? One of our principals, actually Ms. Rosa Garcia, sat in one of the forums. So we're nominated amongst how many districts in the state, Garlic? How many awards? And we were one for best implementation. And second, we got awarded a $1.1 million grant for the next 3 years to support our math instruction across the district. So yes, definitely.
Great, thank you.
Coach Cuellar?
Yeah, well, Dr. Rodriguez kind of answered that question that I was going to ask, because, when we started all this, one of the first things I asked is, are we getting training?
Right.
Well, what I learned afterwards, there was not enough training, so the frustration of not knowing how to present all this was a factor. And I'm seeing this dip, so, we're going to stay the course, and I guess once we better understand what's going on, and I'm starting to hear some more positive things about, we're starting to get the gist of this thing. So I guess at the end of the year, we're going to see if there's any kind of an increase or not. But
yes, sir.
Again, to all the things that are happening, all the positive things that are happening, outstanding job, and stay the course, and whatever you need to support this thing. We said we're going to go with it. We're going to go with it, and let's find a way to make it work even better.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Coach Cuellar. Mr. Castillo?
Yeah, just with respect to goal, first on goal 1, congratulations to the campuses on your data. That it was great data. Silva, good job. Collector, kicking butt. Memorial as well. And all the other campuses too, with respect to your individual campus data. Please thank your teachers for all the hard work that they're doing. And thank you to you guys as well as being the leaders of the campuses. With respect to goal 2, Can you give us an update on that call with Matt to
Yes.
see what's going on with that? And so we don't necessarily anticipate a dip in STAR scores.
No. And that's what we're trying to figure out, that their RIT score to be at a meets went higher, but STAR did not change, right? So how is that going to impact our data if, as we conference with principals and even just the feedback that we receive from Region 1 is stronger than previous years and the support.
How did the benchmarks look?
So benchmark, it was right there, Mr. Castillo, I'm so sorry. Benchmark 1, it was 32%, which was very comparable to the previous years. So benchmark 2 usually goes a little higher, and then STAR goes higher after our review.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're waiting on benchmark 2 data, which should be around mid-March.
So the benchmarks were comparable to the.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, if you could put that in our update, Doc,
Yes.
just kind of how that call
We will.
happened. Well, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Coach Serna?
Well, the same thing, just thanks for the presentation, but continue to monitor the teachers and give those campuses support. And just work on that vertical alignment.
Yes, sir.
And I think,
That's the decision we're trying to make, Mr. Sedna. Is this the best tool that vertically aligns with all of our other systems, to have one
Right.
system and not multiple? Yes.
okay.
Thank you.
And again, thank you for the information, Mrs. Solano. The implementation, it's always difficult when it's a new program, the MAP and the other one, right?
Blue Bonnet.
And the Blue Bonnet, right? And it normally takes 1 or 2 years, because when I was principal and Ms. Peterson was principal, when we went to the block schedule, I tell you what, it took 1 to 2 years to implement teaching to the block, but also teachers learning how to teach to the block. And little by little, in 3 years, at that time, and Ms. Morales was our facilitator there, she took over, and of course, in 3 years, the scores were there. But it took time to implement the new program, even though teachers didn't want to have a block schedule. And now, 15 years later, we still have block schedule, and we still continue to do well, and especially the high school, because that's a difficult, those STAR tests at the high school, that's a difficult task. Elementary, yes, they're difficult, but it takes that principal, that leadership team to guide them and provide whatever they need so they can improve. So
Yes,
thank
sir.
you for your presentation. Any other comments? All right, let's continue. Discussions, possible action for the Board of Trustees to consider approval of the Lone Star Governance Board Monitoring Report for February 2026.
Make a motion to approve?
I have a motion by Mr. Castillo,
Second?
second by Dr. Jaime, to approve the Board Monitoring Report for February 2026. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's continue to discussion items. No, not yet.
Presentation.
My fault.
Presentation.
Let me go back over.
Number 10.
I lost my page here. Presentation. Available unused property for sale. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, Mr. Aguilar?
Good evening, Dr. Rivera, President Nieto, members of the board. The first slide that you have before you, this is just an update to give you on the Pete Abrego Ag Farm Facility. January 26th, board approved the sale of the Pete Abrego Farm Facility to the city of Weslaco for $1,555,000 for 7.6 acres. Weslaco ISD signed off to the contract and it was submitted to the city last week. We are currently in coordination planning between Weslaco ISD and the city. We're working on a smooth transition. We're looking at April 1st, where the city can come in and begin demo on identified areas, okay? And if you see the slide in front of you, the identified areas would be, if you look at the aerial view on the bottom, the identified areas would be the 3 clustered buildings right to the upper north of that aerial view. You have the facility, which is basically the long elongated one. That would be your FFA building, which is more of a canopy. Right next to it is going to be the facility for the steer, and right to the east of it would be where the swine are held. So we're looking on making those adjustments after March. Once they're done with a livestock show, all their animals are taken and the events and so forth. So we're looking at April 1st. Our maintenance department is already making arrangements at the equine facility to house the swine once we move them over. So that is the plan, and just wanted to give you an update on that one. Next slide. This one, again, what we have here is available real estate to consider. Okay, this is unused property for sale. Now, no longer necessary for educational purposes. That will be up to the board to decide. The language is considered disposal of property if the board deems it appropriate moving forward. This is one that we put up for the board to consider. So if you look at this property, this is a property west of the Legion, VFW, and 6, and it's approximately 1.18 acres. Reason I'm saying approximately because this is more of a Google scale that we're looking at. It hasn't been surveyed. So this was a property that was initially discussed with the city. They felt it belonged to them, and this was due to a deed that hadn't been revised. And that was the reason it had been going back and forth. What are some possible options for this property here? Some possible options could be used as office buildings or apartments, or other possibilities that it could be used for. Next slide. Next slide is another property that's located down Bridge and 7th on the bottom. Now, that is just a general scale there that can be slightly adjusted because you do have some portables. One of the portables that was removed from there. But if you see where the parking lot ends and you see the outlets that go into a drainage, of course, that's why it's not moved into closer to the parking area, because we do have that drainage there. But that's approximately 1.11 acres. This is something that a possible option for this area could be office buildings, since there's some medical facilities located close by, and also some medical offices that could be an appropriate location for someone that's interested. And of course, you have the aquatic center there, and of course, our Lewis Black campus. Next slide. This was one that you had mentioned, Mr. Nieto.
Correct.
This was a property that is south of Ibarra Elementary. This property south of Ibarra Elementary is approximately 12.6 acres. Now, this is one that can be subdivided into new homes, apartments, and right now that is a large real estate property that's available. And that's something also for the board to consider. Next slide. This is one that we're still studying. This was, this is one that we're looking at right now as well. This is a parking area north of the old Horton campus. This is also, if you look in the middle section of that area, it's approximately 5.1 acres. That's the pavilion located there in the center, that white building. This is something that could be some possible options for this property. Could be some business offices, some apartments, some new homes, etc. This is another one that can be considered. The next slide is the one that you had mentioned, Mr. Nieto, regarding the old Horton campus.
Correct.
This is one that we're still studying. It's still under review. We wanted to go ahead and add it on here because, as you can see, there's some highlighted areas there. If you look at the top blue area that's boxed in, that's your one that we have to consider condemning. Okay? If you look at the whole property there in yellow, it's approximately 2 acres that's been identified. But you could see what those other areas were being used for. Right now, we do have an overflow of warehouse storage that we're using in a lot of those buildings that we have in place. So one of the condemned buildings, of course, the campus, and also portable building classrooms that are on the far right to the south of there. That's another one that can be considered. Again, we're studying this option, parts of it that need to be condemned. And this is some property that's approximately 2 acres that could be considered available. That's all I have as far as property that wanted to present and give you an update. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Aguilar, for the presentation.
Yes, sir.
Any questions on the property? Dr. Jaime?
Have we, I know one time we had looked into the bus barn area because of the flooding issues that we had in the past there. does any of this land, have we looked into maybe utilizing some of this land for that purpose?
Not necessarily for that we've looked at it for the bus barn. I know that was an issue that we had already been studying and looking at that. We've also added a lot of the fill dirt that was pulled out of the B. Garza RDF pond that was really facilitated to elevate some ground over there in that area for some future growth that we've added to the bus barn.
Wow. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Ben Castillo?
None, sir.
None? Cochair Serna?
No, sir.
Mr. De Los Santos?
Yes, I do. Going back to the slide for the Pete Abrigo Ag Farm Facility, you do have, look, I'm not a professional on FFA or that type of area, but I've learned enough. One, I'm really glad that we're going to build a new facility because they really, really do need it. Those parents and those kids and everything that they put in and give to that. Two, what was it? Market and breeding. There's two different types of animals. So you have those that are also breeding as well. They will be needing a place to house their animals and whatnot. I think you might need to take a deeper dive into those students. And initially, when this was all talked about, selling the Pete Abrigo Old Farm, I really liked that location. I didn't really want it, but the city was going to build a park, so that gives back to the community. So it's a plus. That's a win. It's not going to be commercial or somebody's pocket that's going to make money. It's giving back to our community. But the facilities weren't going to be touched until after we started the new construction, whenever that time would be, and when those facilities are done. Then we would hand over ownership to the city. I know that one meeting that was discussed, only because there's kids that have animals that are considered under the breeding category. So they're going to be coming back. I don't know. Sometimes these students get sponsors. Sometimes the parents pay for them, right? And you're talking about animals that are thousands of dollars. I'd hate for students that have animals that are sponsored not have a facility to take their animal to. And so if we could just make sure that we survey those parents or figure out how many are breeding and how many are market. So market gets sold off, they're done at the end of the year. Breeders, they have them for multiple years and they have to house them, feed them, and care for them for the next year's competition. So if you could just check that to see how many are going to be affected.
Yes, sir.
The other thing as well too is also I forgot what it's called, but a potential growth analysis. I know that we're seeing a decline in enrollment. I didn't get a chance to talk about it during that slide, but I think an analysis of how many kids are graduating versus how many are coming in and enrolling at the pre-K 3, 4, and kinder level is going to give you a good idea if it's just a generational, our society thing, because sometimes you're graduating more kids than you're bringing in, and that's just natural for a lot of school districts, because you were talking about different generations. It's like I told people before, those graduates are from 18 years ago. So looking at that, I guess would be a study of our community. Like, the city is expanding in multiple ways, right? They're rezoning, and then you're seeing a lot of new development, and you're seeing old neighborhoods being turned into new ones. So what's your plan? Like, if we sell land that we have that's kind of excess, then what's going to be your plan for later? Like, where are you going to buy land or for expansion? And is there any type of analysis or report like that? Okay. Maybe something to look at that the board would benefit from. That's all I had. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So on the first one, we have included Mrs. Gomez and her team. They've been part of the discussions, and we did communicate to the city that we were going to take care of our students' needs first.
Awesome.
So that it was commissioned, the information that was conveyed to them, we've involved them through the whole process. They've actually given us some feedback that this is what they can do, and what do they need from us to make sure we get it done at the equine. So we've been working closely with them.
Okay.
And we'll go back and continue studying that 10-year plan that we had when we did the study just not long ago. So we'll go back and revisit that to study that analysis a little bit more.
It might be worth getting a new one, to Trustee De Los Santos' point. I know, like he stated, there's a lot of development going on. I mean, the last 2 weeks on the city side, I think they've approved 900 new rooftops of development. And those are the only 2 that I know of.
Okay. Okay. Point taken.
Thank you for the presentation. Any other final comments? No action on this item, correct, Dr. Vera? All right, let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aguilar. Let's continue to consent items. Item number 11. Any items that need to be discussed or pulled out? Dr. Jaime?
I have none.
Coach Cuellar?
Have none?
Mr. Ben Castillo?
I have none, sir.
Coach Serna?
No, sir.
And Mr. Mark De Los Santos?
Yes. Consent agenda item number 11F2
11F2.
and then 11G2D.
11F12, 11F2. Let me find it.
I promise the people in the audience won't be long.
Okay, 11F2, and what was the other one?
11F2 and 11G2D.
D.
Yeah. D is in Delta.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda except for 11F2 and 11G2D?
Move to approve?
Second?
We have a motion by Dr. Jaime, second by Coach Cuellar to approve the consent agendas, except for 11F2 and 11G2. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Los Santos,
Yes.
11F2, approval of administration ranking recommendation of the proposal received for the Bomb Phase 1 HVAC upgrade project at B. Garza Middle School, and to authorize the administration to negotiate and approve the contract. Mr. Los Santos.
I just had a questions for Mr. Garza, Medical Garza. I'll wait till he gets up there. It's not gonna be long. Just a few.
Okay.
Just questions, I guess, because this was approved back in December 19, 2023, right? That's what this is stating when this was first brought up, and we're now in 2026.
Yeah.
So my first question would be, I might have a series of questions for you about this topic, but my first question would be is why such a delay? Well, we're talking about December 19, 2023 to February 2026. Kind of I want to learn more about this, only so that way we can continue to improve our method and how we go through the bond and the projects as well, and expectations and timelines and et cetera. So that's why I'm asking you, kind of what happened here?
Yes, sir. Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Rivera. So yeah, so the primary cause of the delay here was the design work. So we worked with the engineer, and it just took that long, try to get them to get this expedited.
Okay.
And so it's just mainly that.
So the design, and it was the engineer, and so that's why there's such a big gap between when we first started this process to now.
Yes, sir.
Another question I had also was just the fact that the proposals, why was there only two? I don't want to talk about company names, but why was there only two people submitted for this? How did that happen? Like, there's a lot of people out there right now with no work. And that's on the commercial and residential side, right? So I'm just curious, how did we fall into a position where there was only two people that submitted? Was it an online submission process? Did we advertise properly?
Yeah, so we've been following the online bidding process for a while now. And this is all electronic that we're receiving all the bids. And at the time of the closing of the bids, which is very specific, and it's all provided via the ad and whatnot that we place on the paper, and in the bid package, the deadlines and everything, then the bid program shuts down right at the very minute. Yeah. And so sometimes they miss the deadline and miss the date.
Or just didn't even see it out there. So I just want to confirm. So this had the normal posting time, had all the documentations in place. Every contractor out there had a chance to apply, and there was only two submissions, and that's it.
That is correct. Okay. And so we do have a pre-bid conference meeting as well, where we invite all the potential bidders to join and ask questions and so forth. So we have a period for questions and answers, and we provide that as well. And sometimes we just don't get the response.
Okay. And then, okay.
Got it?
Mm-hmm. That one, and then yes, and the other one, yeah, that's it, sir. Thank you so much.
11G2D, approval of budget amendments?
Yes.
Correct?
On that one, it was gonna be just the kind of the amendments, and it was gonna be mostly for band. Okay, so that's the topic, the Weslaco East, there's an amendment in there. It's sort of a small amount, and I was just curious as far as like our departments, as far as where their budget's at right now, and do they have the necessary resources to continue on through the rest of the year? I just want to make sure that that's happening there.
And I think, each principal at Wesco High and Wesco East,
right?
Because they work with and I would guess,
Director?
Mr. I forgot his name.
Because
Fernandez, he works, I was looking at you, I couldn't remember. Mr. Fernandez works with those area.
That's a good thing, sir.
Yeah. Okay. But I think Mr. Fernandez and the two principals can work with them on the budget correctly.
As a board, only just want to make sure that those, we invest a lot in other sports and other categories and things like that. want to make sure that, no offense, I know you're already looking at me, but well, I'm talking about athletics. But no, but I want to make sure that fine arts also has the funding it needs from the district level, that we're appropriating the proper funds, and that there's no lack or necessary funds for equipment and whatnot, stuff like that.
And I
And I
think-
have heard some discussion that, like at East, I'm gonna just put it out there, right? Is it at East, that the funding there for instruments, right? Buying new instruments or whatever the case may be. I'd like to know more about that.
Okay.
How does that process work? When does that get done? Because we're gonna finish up and wrap up this year. So how long has it been since that campus has received funding to go purchase new equipment? And I don't know what that scale that does. That's why I'm kind of curious. Like, how do you have that? I don't want to put you on the spot either. If you don't have those numbers ready, but.
And yet, and every year, as a principal and as a finance director,
Right.
they request additional money depending on how many students you have participating in band.
Okay.
And if they have less students, well, of course, the budget's not going to increase, right?
Okay.
So it all depends on each band at each high school.
Okay.
The same thing with academic program. I mean, athletic
So
programs.
it's fairly, right now you can say it's fairly distributed. Everybody
Yes.
has the resources they need.
Would you like me to, I'm
I would love for you to go to the podium.
Rhetorical questions, or are you inviting?
No, I'm inviting you to the podium. Yes, please. I would love to know. Because I just see little things and I'm like, well, I'm curious. And then,
Board of Trustees, Dr. Rivera, good evening. So the current allotment that we're on, because that's the way the budget's broken down,
right,
is $450 a student.
Okay.
And that's the same practice that we've had probably since 2010, if not earlier.
Okay.
With all things considered, I think $450 is not the correct approach. With our previous CFO, I had presented a 5-year spending plan that basically was longitudinal data of everything that we consider non-negotiables.
Right.
These are meals, transportation, and contest fees.
Right.
While he agreed that was the best way to build the budget, that's not the way we went. We went with the $450 allotment. My next recommendation is to consider increasing that to maybe $600 a student.
Okay.
We're not there yet. So naturally, there are plenty of shortfalls, unfortunately, not only with the East budget, but also with the high budget as well, especially when dealing with the band. Yeah.
And that's kind of what I wanted to bring up
Yeah.
as far as those funding formulas, in theory, help with creating a number and plugging it in. But is it addressing the needs in reality? No.
We make the needs of the students, they get met.
Right.
But not without creative ways of making those needs met.
But we could do better.
Always.
That's my opinion, I think.
Correct.
Investment in those areas. So that's what I'm gonna bring up, because I know they're gearing up on budgets, contracts and whatnot. That's something big that we have to look at as far as too, is the ratio, if they're gonna do it by disbursement per student, like you said.
Correct.
Okay, but we also have to look at increasing that too, because I'd like to compare the ratio of disbursement by students, like say in athletics versus like say fine arts and some of the other departments, and see if they fall within a similar or close range.
We've had some very promising conversations about other areas where revenue is being generated by both athletics and fine arts, and being able to use those revenues for other expenditures like our marching band season, show props, things of that nature that require additional funding on top of those non-negotiables that were mentioned. So hopefully something will come to fruition that we can bring and present to show you the remedies that are being provided for some of the shortfalls that we do encounter.
Oh, thank you, sir.
But I do want to make it clear for the board and also for the community that the students' needs are always met. It's just the creative ways we have to go about doing it that I'm sure cause a lot of uncertainty with our directors as we move through these month-to-month expenditures.
Thank you, sir.
And as we continue with the audit, and we have available money, I know Dr. Rivera will work with you with the finance program to provide, the additional funding if it's available. Again, it all depends. Correct, Dr. Rivera?
Correct.
Okay. Any other comments on those two items? Do I have a motion to approve those two items?
Motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Ben Castillo,
Second.
second by Mr. Eddie Serna.
I'm just gonna abstain from 11F2.
Okay. Let the record reflect that Mr. Mark De Los Santos will abstain from 11F2, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Let's continue. Okay. Discussion items. Item 12. Update on trainings, conferences, events, and consider future agenda item requests by the Board of Trustees. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, 2 items. The Lone Star is scheduled on Friday, on Friday of next week.
Correct.
And then there's 2 level 3 parent grievances.
Correct?
And then Yvette will poll the board as to when you want to hear these 2.
Okay.
Which one's this one?
This is just for discussion, no action, right?
Yes.
13A, 13B.
No, 12A.
Oh.
12A.
Did we talk about 12 discussion items?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
what,
12
that's what we're
12A.
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 I'm sorry.
I have a question. We're having board meetings every month, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Any comments on these 2? No action, there's no action, so. Just,
level 2 grievances, parent grievances.
Yeah.
That's the one that I think, I don't know who I saw an email from. I think she's not here. I don't want to quote her, but on how we're going to develop that. I don't.
It's on the, one of the discussion items.
Oh, it is? Oh,
Yes.
okay, perfect. Never mind.
Okay. Item 13, discussion and possible action. 13A, discussion and possible action to nominate a candidate via resolution for a vacant appointed director seat for the Hidalgo County Appraisal District. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, Eddie Bancourt passed away.
Correct.
So now we'll need a motion from the board if you want to nominate anyone for this vacant position.
And again, here, I took the liberty to ask around who somebody wanted to nominate. And the only one that I've received information from was David Hernandez. He is the business owner for Holiday Inn Liquor and whatever. And I didn't receive any other names. Now, if some of you received that, you know.
I also checked on, and his name was mentioned. He used to be on the board before.
Yes, he used
so
to be.
he's got experience.
Okay. Dr. Jaime, anybody?
No.
Mr. Ben Castillo?
Yes, I would like to nominate David Hernandez and Luis Salamia.
And who?
Luis Salamia.
Luis Alamia. Is he from Edinburgh?
Yes, he's a board member in Edinburgh. He told me that he would be interested in it.
Okay. Coach Serna?
No.
Luis Alamia and Mr. David Hernandez. Mr. Mark de los Santos?
I'm a little confused. Could you kind of break
just
it down as far as who are we nominating?
Well,
one person?
No,
you can nominate.
you can nominate both of them, and the final vote will come from their department, the appraisal district.
Oh, okay. Well,
They'll-
yeah, both of those will work, then, I guess.
Okay, so Mr. Ben Castillo, you had the motion?
Yes, for David Hernandez and Luis Salamia.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Coach Serna, so those are the 2 nominees. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's continue. Item 13B, discussion of possible action for the Board of Trustees to establish a board grievance committee for level 3 appeals. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, if the board wants to, this is DGBA local. If the board wants to, you can designate 3 instead of all 7. And then these 3 board members, and then you will select them, Mr. Nieto. You will select the 3, and then we'd have 30 days to respond to the grievance. So if you want to go this route, or you want to stay the old way and have all 7 of you participate.
Okay, I thought about.
Recommend this one.
Okay,
The 3.
the 3, and when I send the agenda items discussion to each one of you, you know, a couple of you responded that you would be wanted to be part of the committee, and so for the first round, this is what I'm proposing. So that way, each one of you understand. It'll be myself and 2 others, and an alternate, and then after say 6 months, it'll be the next 3 with myself as and 1 person as an alternate. What I have right now, and who reached out to me, Mr. Ben Castillo, he would agree that he would be part of the first group, and then of course Coach Cuellar also agreed, and Dr. Jaime said it's an alternate. So the first one will be us 3, and Dr. Jaime is the alternate. In case one of us cannot be there, he can be there. All right. Coach Cuellar has been can take over. We say, for example, I cannot be there. Coach Cuellar can be the person, the spokesman, but Dr. Jaime would be coming in. I know Dr. Jaime is very well. He works a lot. You know, he has to visit his sons too. So, and I know Mr. Mark de los Santos mentioned that he can only meet after 5 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right.
So the second group will be myself, Coach Sena, or Mr. Los Santos, or Jackie. So that we can decide on that if you want to be part of the committee on the second round.
Are you opening it up for comments?
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
I I don't know. For me, I think it's something I feel more comfortable with as a trustee, especially for parents, right? Because these are parents that are coming in from all different parts of the community, and the expectation for me is to show up, right? I think that's kind of what I signed up for as far as my service, right? I'm here to serve. I just think that I think I would just love it to be open. Like if you can get all 7 here, then great. If 5 show up, fine. If we only show up that time, I think that'd be good. Only just for, I don't want to fall into a position where a parent's going to say, well, it was because de Los Santos and it was Nieto and Rodriguez were there only. And whatever the case. It's a fairness, right? For whoever shows up, I think. Like that way you eliminate that process saying, well, it didn't work my way because those 3 were there and I have an issue with them or whatever the case may be. I'm just thinking about the future and issues that you could have with parents.
And I think after the first round, you'll see what we need to change. After the first round with 3.
Yeah.
And the reason Mr. Ben Castillo agreed, because of course, he has a lot of expertise in school law. So that would make it easier for me to have that grievance, and of course, Coach Crab being there too. And if one of us couldn't be, then Dr. Jaime would be the alternate for first round.
Let me ask, what sparked the change?
Dr. Rivera?
Maybe I missed somewhere. I missed it somewhere.
It came from the state.
So I could explain this, if that's okay.
Okay,
So-
go ahead, Mr. Castillo.
So there's a new statute and the education code with respect to grievances. We have to follow timelines.
Right.
All of our timelines are going to change. But as a way to kind of help boards with that, because now you have to hear level 3 grievances within a certain timeline. I believe it's 60 days from the
Correct,
date it was
60.
filed. And so the state is allowing us to create a committee as opposed to trying to get a whole, or at least a quorum, right? Because now we have that 60-day notice. I'm open to leaving it the way it is, but just know once we get level 3 appeals, they have to be heard within 60 days for us to be in compliance with the statute. This is not a bad idea because it would allow for us to do that without having to call a meeting and getting 3 board members available. And so I'm good with whatever the board wants to do. This is just a way for us to make sure that we don't miss that 60-day deadline.
Dr. Rivera, what would be your recommendation on this?
I like the recommendation.
3? Okay.
Any more want to come? Was
Yeah.
4 or 5?
I would prefer to leave it, all 7 of us.
We can vote on it. It's up.
Yeah, because I can still show up if I want to. Like if I want to participate, it's not like I'm not allowed to. Like you say, hey, well, it's us 3, but I'm saying I can make it and I want to be there. We can
Are we open to that?
Right, like Coach
That's
Shella
up to you.
said.
Well, yeah,
I would say.
I think that's a good middle ground, right? Where we could do this committee, but if you have more than a quorum that want to show up, we just post it as a board meeting.
Right, that's, with the 3, you don't have to post it. If we have more than 3, you have to
We
post
would
it.
do this after 5, right?
Right.
Yes.
5:30.
Depending on them, on the grievance.
Well,
No, after 5.
I
It would
think
be after
leaving
5.
it like that, like you were saying, all 7 of us could show up if we wanted to, and if not, if we can't, then just 3 or 4 show up.
Okay.
I think it leaves it open as far as for fairness, equity across the board, and also across trustees, right, that can participate or not participate.
That makes it easier for me because I won't have to be at every single one of them.
Exactly. Yes.
That's
yeah.
fine if that's what you all want to do.
So if I can make a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to create the level 3, the grievance committee, but in the event that there are more than a quorum that are available to show up, we just post it as a regular meeting.
Okay. We have do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. Jaime. So we have a motion by Mr. Castillo, second by Dr. Jaime. Any other discussion? So now, just to refresh your memory, I don't have to be there at some of those. So you all will have to be, take over,
See,
this.
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, it kind of frees it up for you two and schedules and commitments and whatnot.
Okay.
It's fair.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's continue to 13D.
C.
No, my fault, C. Discussion of possible action for the Board of Trustees to approve the purchase and installation of 3-point seat belts on district-owned school buses in compliance with Texas Transportation Code 54770. Dr. Rivera.
Senate Bill 546 now requires the 3-point seat belts by September 2029. I'm happy to report that all our buses have the seat belts already, with the exception of one bus not in compliance, and the cost is $25,000 to get this one in compliance. Recommending approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Coach Cuellar and second by Mr. Ben Castillo, correct?
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Discussion of possible action for the Board of Trustees to adopt or reject the resolution regarding a period of prayer and reading of religious texts during the school day. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, we polled the principals, and according to the count, 13 are against the resolution and 5 are for. So 13 don't want to have the prayer and the religious during the school day. So it's up to the board to
I
decide.
could explain this one too. I've been dealing with it for the last 2 weeks. So Senate Bill 11 is a statutory framework that allows for schools to officially designate a prayer time. Can't be during instruction, has to be non-instructional time, so either in the morning or the afternoon.
Correct.
Also, there's a bunch of local campus administrator and teacher requirements. For example, we would need to get waivers from every student and every employee that would want to participate. We have to maintain a database. The campus principal and the teachers would have to be aware of who has those waivers and who doesn't, because if we do move forward with this, we would have to have a separate area in the campus and make sure that nobody who doesn't have a waiver is not within earshot. And so I can tell you that most districts, although they are for prayer, which we already have, clubs and schools and stuff that allow for prayer, are opting out of these specific procedures. We don't need a resolution to opt out. We only need a resolution if we're going in. And so I agree with what the other school districts are doing for the mere fact, not because I'm against prayer, but because I don't want our principals or teachers at the campus level to have to do extra work to make sure that we're in compliance with Senate Bill 11. And we already have other avenues that allow for any student or any employee to pray specifically whenever they want. There's no specific time period for it. So that's.
And this won't affect what we already have in place.
No.
Correct.
And I'll continue with Mr. Ben Castillo. As proposed, it must be its own period of prayer.
Yes.
It can't happen during instructional time. You mentioned that. It will require supervision by staff assigned as additional duty outside of working hours, with no additional funding from the state to allow for extra duty pay.
Nope.
So those teachers have to volunteer. Number 4, ensuring that all beliefs are respected equally can be a difficult practice. And number 5, the issue is not that I don't want prayer. It's more the administrative hurdles in scheduling around academic time, identifying appropriate spaces, handling the required consent paperwork that you mentioned, and ensuring that non-participants are not affected.
Yeah.
So, very similar to what you said, Mr. Castillo.
Yeah.
So do I have a motion either way?
I would make a motion to opt out, but not by resolution, just by roll call vote. It has to be a roll call vote.
Yes, sir. It has to be a roll call. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Coach Guerra is second. So the resolution is to opt out, correct, Mr. Ben Castillo?
No resolution, just opt out.
Just opt out. So we're gonna have to take it an individual vote in favor or against. Dr. Jaime?
Aye.
Okay. Coach Guerra?
Aye to the motion.
The motion, okay? Mr. Ben Castillo?
Aye.
And Mr. Eddie Serna?
Aye.
And Mr. Mark de los Santos?
Aye.
And I go with the aye too, so it's unanimous. All right?
Let me take out my crucifix.
13E. Discussion is possible action for the Board of Trustees to approve the administration's ranking recommendation of the proposal received for the construction of the new egg farm facility project, and to authorize the administration to negotiate and approve the contract. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, on your backup, you have the 6 firms that had a proposal. The committee ranked them, and they ranked number 1, Summit Building and Design, for $13,553,000. That's our recommendation.
Is it open for questions?
After we put it in for motion, then we can
Okay.
discuss. Yeah. What's your recommendation, Dr. Rivera?
Number 1, Summit Building and Design.
Okay.
The committee recommended them as number 1.
Do I have a motion to approve that?
I mo,
A motion by Coach Correa, second.
I'll second that.
We have a second from Dr. Jaime. Now we have discussion. Mr. Los Santos?
First, I have a series of questions here. I didn't follow. I made it almost through all the agenda. I've been very busy, but this item here, I just want to confirm, this is for a design build, or this is already to approve the construction? contractor for construction.
Dr.
Americo?
Rivera?
It's competitive seal.
Competitive seal proposal.
The contract.
But you already received it, right? The CSP, that's what we're looking at. We already
Yes.
received
There
a
were-
proposal.
Yes, there were
My-
6 firms.
My question is, because I missed September and I missed November. Those are the meetings I missed. When did we have a presentation by the architect on the ag farm? Well, like what month? What month did we have a presentation to the board on the presentation? Did I miss it?
I'll have to go back and check.
Because I have questions, like I don't know the price per square foot, I don't know what the facility looks like, I don't know what the plans are, I don't know how many pens, parking spots.
Yeah, I don't think we ever seen a design. I know that we authorized them to go out for bid,
Right,
but I don't
to-
think we ever saw a design.
I don't think I've been here 5 years, every time we have construction going on, we have a presentation to the community, to the board, which is, well, that's why I say the community. I know I missed 2 meetings, I went back and looked in the, but I didn't see any, and that's what I'm asking. When did you have the architect come and present to the board on the facility? Because, like I said, I have questions, like what's the per square foot cost? How many square footage is heated and cooled and how many is not? What's it even made out of? What does it look like?
Mr. Sepulveda, can we have a presentation after we have a motion right now? So if we approve it, can we have a presentation? Because this is the low bid, correct?
Right.
Dr. Rivera?
Well, I know, sir, but what I'm saying is, it's like me. I build houses, right? It's like me having a customer come and sign for a 400,000 square foot house that doesn't even know what it looks like. Like I'm a trustee here. I can't approve something I don't even know what it looks like. It's a $14 million project, but am I at 350 a square foot, 400, 700 a square foot? How many square footage is the building? Like, we've never done this before.
Well,
Ever.
Didn't we have a committee for that?
So we did have the staff at Kate involved and all the instructors.
Right.
Correct.
And all
That's
the
normal.
and everything,
That's normal,
the
yeah.
architect and so
Yes,
forth.
but we didn't have a board presentation from the architect on the design and what the cost is, right? I see you're shaking your head no, right? I don't think we did. Unless I missed it, but no. Not on the
Not
actual
with this-
design.
no.
So
don't
to
know
my
what it
trustees,
looks
what I'm trying to say is you're gonna approve a $14 million project that you have no idea what it looks like. I know this is time sensitive because I want them to have their ag farm too, but we still have to be transparent and follow process, and it's our due diligence to ask questions, right? So it's nothing on you, but you presented in the past to us the design.
So would you like to have a presentation at the next board meeting?
I would like to
which
table.
will-
I would like to table the item and then have a workshop so that we can look at it. Did we even have input from the parents? Did we call in parents and that are participating and survey them? I know usually in the past you had input from the staff that works directly with it, CTE and the ag teachers.
Correct.
Then you'd also have students. You'd have parents do a committee. You'd present to the board in a presentation, and that's what I'm trying to say, right? This item is on the agenda item, right?
Correct.
And this is not how anyone does business in the Rio Grande Valley. Nobody, and you have someone here who has a lot of experience with other districts. We cannot approve a project that we have no idea what it looks like.
Okay, so you wanted to
I
table
wanna
the item?
I want to table the
Motion-
item.
Motion to table it, and then.
Call for a workshop,
Correct,
and then that way we can bring it for an approval.
that's fine. So.
Now, just real quick, this didn't get approved, by yourself, Medical, right? We had input from your ag teachers and people who know about ag farms and buildings and
So we're
facilities.
involved every step of the.
Because I have no idea, about ag buildings, so I know we're trying to pass this motion, and for me, you know more about construction. If you feel more comfortable, having your voice on it, then I'm okay with it. But,
And it's
at
not
the
my
same time,
voice. I'm just saying, we don't even know what the price per square foot is.
well,
But I
but
think
that's
that's where
something, that's where, that.
Do you know what it is?
I have that information not off the top of my head, but I have all those numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and I'm sure you do, but the public doesn't know. It's not our money. It's not your money either, or the teachers. It's the public. That's what I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be the negative person here, but I don't even know what it looks like. If I approve a $14 million construction project today, and the public asks me, is it made out of wood, brick, or mud? I wouldn't be able to answer it. Okay? I'm a trustee.
But that's why we have a committee that looks at that. I don't think
I know
it's.
there's a committee, but yet we're trustees. We're the representation of the community.
Okay, so
And
whatever.
if you get
whatever-
asked what it looks like, you should say, like a Leaf ISD, they have a website, they have schematics,
Right.
they have these things that are provided.
Correct. So that's just gonna
That's my
delay you mentioned about, parents and having
Surveys
readers or
and-
whatever. So that's just
I'm not
gonna
saying I
delay
don't trust
that.
them. I'm
Which
just
is
saying
okay.
is that before I sign off to spend $14 million, I need to know what it looks like. I think.
I'm not a designer, so I wouldn't want to.
Or at least be able, the trustee, to say, yeah, you know what, comparables, you know, what are we paying per square foot
So
versus
what's our
other
motion?
projects? Monday?
Okay. Our motion was to approve it.
Approve it.
Correct? By Coach Cuellar and second by Dr. Jaime. So we have a motion on the floor to approve it.
I would say if we could amend it and table it just so we can have a workshop or have more information as far as what we're paying for.
After the vote, we can discuss that. Because we have a motion already. Motion and second to approve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And opposed?
All opposed?
No.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Motion dies?
Yeah. So I'll make a
So,
motion to table so we can get a presentation.
Okay.
That'll work.
Yes? So we have a motion to table from Mr. Ben Castillo, second by
Second by Gonzalo.
Coach Cerda.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Okay. All in favor for that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. So, Dr. Rivera, at the next board meeting, you'll have a board workshop before?
Presentation.
Hopefully not at,
Now, Mr. Nieto, would it be several companies or just that particular?
Or the architect.
Well, no, this would just be the design.
yeah, there will
Just
be
the
just a
design.
design.
Okay.
Yes. So that way they can give us a design.
A breakdown
yes.
of what we're looking at, and hopefully just comparables as well too. Like you can, I mean, anything you can chat GPT anything nowadays. So just a comparable. What do we pay per square footage? How many square footage do we have? HVAC now versus non-HVAC? Those type of things. And
That's
what's
right.
it made out of?
Okay.
You know, what does it look like?
All right, let's move forward. Any other things right here? All right, let's continue on to, let me go back. And we're at closed meeting already, right? Dr. Rivera?
Yes.
Closed meeting, 14A, personal matters. Discussion regarding superintendent's recommendation of contracts for certified professional, non-certified professional, and non-contractual personnel. 14A2, discussion regarding resignations, retirements of certified professional, non-certified professional, and non-contractual personnel. Pending or contemplated litigation, settlement offer, or matter in which the duty of the attorney of the Weslaco Independent School District under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the state of Texas clearly conflicts with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code 551071. It is 8:12, and we will go into executive session. We come in open meeting. Possible action, if necessary, on items discussed in closed meeting. 15A, discussion of possible action regarding superintendent's recommendation of contracts for certified, professional, non-certified, professional, and non-contractual personnel. Dr. Rivera.
Recommend approval?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Coach Guerra, second by Dr. Jaime. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 15A2, discussion of possible action regarding resignations, retirements of certified professional, non-certified professional, and non-contractual personnel. Dr. Rivera.
You have the list. Recommending approval?
Move to approve.
Motion by Coach Guerra,
Second,
second by Mr. Ben Castillo.
congratulations to all.
Congratulations to all. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Adjournment.
So move.
It's 8:27, and we move after a good meeting.
All right. You out of there? No.